at... Wait, now it's going on? I see a 40 seat going on later today. So check this out, actually. If you are looking at your ACR client, later on today, the $95 Beast Satty, 40 Venom tickets, guaranteed. And usually this beats the guarantee as well. 40 hit, yeah, because I think this used to be 30. And then it would always get up to like 40 some. But 40 tickets guaranteed, probably get up to 50 today. That's at 5 o'clock my time. So 6 o'clock Eastern, but this is such a sick tournament for 95 bucks. Try to win your way into the Venom. Oh my gosh, there's a late reg, there's a 1650 100K, the Super Sunday. Jeez, man. Hey, type 1 in the chat if you would like to play this tournament, but you're not already. This is a sick one, man. This is a 1 day too. As well. 1650 100K. This is not a normal tournament. This is a big one. This is chunky, man. 1650 100K. Jeez. I'm like half I just want to focus on the Venom. But with some of these tournaments that we have going on right now, I'm just like tempted, you know? Type 1 in the chat if you would love to play that tournament, but you are not able to. Maybe you don't have a bankroll. I'm curious. Oh, and these are all... Oh, okay, now I see what she's saying. Look at this. If you got a bankroll, there's a 290 buy-in guaranteeing 50 tickets. There's a 630 buy-in guaranteeing 60 tickets to the Venom. Oh my gosh, I might have to play a satellite off to the side. This is kind of... Holy crap. Actually... Huh? I could play the satellites off to the side, actually. That's kind of sick. Wow. 50 and 60 seats guaranteed? Oh my gosh, that's absurd. Jay, the spin to get in, you have to have that option turned on in your settings. And then what you would do is you open up the tournament that you're trying to spin into's lobby. And then you should see a little button next to the register button that's like spin to get in, or above it, I believe it is. And then it's like a little slot looking machine thing. I will say be careful with that. Feels like a slippery slope. It's definitely just gambling. So what I suggest and what I've done with myself, I turn it off nowadays, but what I've done with myself in the past is like, okay, I want to have some fun. I want to gamble 50 bucks. And I'm like, in my mind, 50 bucks. Okay, that's what I'm going to spend on this. Boom, I'll stick it in. Whatever I'm trying to spin it into. And then, you know, try to stick to the plans. Stick to the script. Wow, those satties are sick though, man. Yeah, I got to get in the 290 at least. I'm going to keep this off to the side. That's just so sick for extra tickets. And these are satties, so they won't pull my attention or anything too much. All right, we got the giggity on the button. We're going to fold it. By the way, can you guys hear the... I don't know if this is the word, ambient music in the background? Is it chill? We've been going without music, but I think I have a way to kind of play just some like chill background music that should be safe for me to play on like YouTube and Twitch. Hey, Timmy Two Tables. What's up, Timmy Two Tables? How you been? Been a long time. Timmy, you in and out, man. It's good to see you, though. Hey, it's Timmy Two Tables. Step 1, you put your chips in the pot. You get the reference? I know someone out there got to get that reference. You put your chips in the pot. Step 2. Oh, wait, no. I guess you got to cut a hole in the pot and then you put your chips in the pot. Another pot here between Dart and Cameron. 21 babies in the middle. Another big bet on the river from Dart. Let's see if Cameron finds another raise here. Wow, so there's a bunch of you who are not playing that 1650 100K, huh? All right, we're gonna have to do something to change that. Ooh, I got the ace king on the button. All right, I'm gonna put some people into the 1650 100K. So what that means is I will stake some players in it. Since I can't play it, I'll put up the 1650. But we will chop the winnings. Whatever you cash for, you send me 50% back. You keep the other 50%. Type yes if you would be down for that. Type yes in the chat if you'd be down for that. It'll give me a little bit of time. I got a hand here. So when I see your yeses come through, if you guys are down for a stake giveaway. Another 1650 100K. There's still a lot of late reg, over 3 hours. I'll put some people into it. Just make sure you're following the stream or you hit the like button on YouTube. I will give away some stakes on Twitch and YouTube. All right. Ace high flop. Easy continue with our ace king. Cheers, Jay, no doubt. Thanks for the good luck. I will take it. I'll take this. You know what? If we just raise and c-bet and just never get called for the entirety of this tournament, we will make the final table. That's all that happens. That is literally all that happens. All right, we're gonna stay aggressive with this. We're gonna take all the spots here. So let me see. We will give away, I think the plan's gonna be, we'll give away like something trackable for me. We'll do like 3 1650 50-50 stakes into the 100K for our Twitch audience. And you know what the heck, we'll do 3 on YouTube as well. I'll try to get that all sorted here coming up on the break, so stay with me. The lead here, interesting. We're gonna draw to the nuts. We're super deep. I'm gonna call. This is a board I'm gonna continue a lot on, so this lead is very interesting to me. It is not a board you typically lead on. I'm not sure what they're thinking, but we're not folding. I was considering raising. If I had more time to process, I might raise. I'm just gonna stick with the relatively easy call. What's up, Midnight Storm? Was that it? Yeah, that was it. That was it. Monkey Mel, welcome back. Thank you for the 57 months. Good to see you out there. Also, C19, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. This is interesting. Are they just nut pedaling? I do block the nuts. Part of me wants to raise here. Part of me wants to raise here. fact that they're doing it into 2 players, I'm going to just fold this turn now. This is a very interesting one, though. I really do just want to launch with my hand here, though. What's up there, Real Crypto Guru? Real Crypto Guru, I think you're playing in this too. Good luck to you as well. Hey, what up, Krusty? Thank you, thank you. Good luck to you as well. Very curious what this, because at this point with this run out, it's not a set of 8s that bets like this. So did they really lead with like the Jack 10 of spades? You know, back into their straight, or turn their straight actually. Okay, I'm pulling up Nightbot, everyone. I'm pulling up the old Nightbot. Looks like it's actually set up right now on my YouTube, so we're gonna start on YouTube. Okay, YouTubers, get over it right now. Do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. That's all I ask. I'm about to put 3 people from YouTube into the 1,650-100K on ACR. So it's this tournament right here. Super Sunday. This is a rare tournament. There's still 200 minutes of late registration, but I've never seen us run a 1,650-100K. That is a 1-day tournament. So this is pretty awesome. Whatever you cash for, you get to keep 50%, and then you'll send me the other 50% back. That's the way that this deal works. That's the way this stake works. Okay, so please do me a favor. If you don't understand terms of that deal, you don't want to get banned from the stream and everything else, just make sure that you honor the deal. That's all I ask. Okay, we're giving away some free money here. We don't know who's going to get it. Could be somebody here who's new. Could be somebody who's been here for a long time. The keyword on YouTube is Venom. Today is Venom Day, so we're going to celebrate it. We're going to use it as our keyword. I'm going to pick 3 people to give 1,650 away to. All right, we're gonna make the fold there. By the way, we're in that 290 Sati. Trying to win another Venom ticket. Bottom with about 20 bigs. What's up there? I'm Goated. How to join the 50/50 stake. The giveaway, if you are on YouTube, the keyword is Venom. I am going to set an alarm. And let's see here, 12. Right before the break. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's good to see everyone.
Vintage Poker RB Challenge. I have to get fake hands. And I won one of those. How did you win a competition?
What do we got here? Fourth place. Oh, one bullet. Nice us. So about 150.
So I just got moved tables. Ryan sat, played our first orbit. He didn't go bust, which is fantastic.
Stop. Me llamo Drew.
Basically, you can see like what other high-level players are thinking, what they're supposed to do in certain spots, and then you can exploit that. Hello, 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 hello. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. It is time for another stream. We're going to be studying again. So these study streams are happening. And like I said last time that we spoke, we were going to figure out when we could do it. And here we are. So we put some dates out on Twitter, on our Instagram, and in the Discord when we'll be getting our next streams in. So we have a study stream today, and then we will do Venom stream on Sunday, and then we will have study stream on Monday, I believe. So we're really getting it in. So it's good to see everyone. Thanks for tuning in. It is, what's today? Friday evening. Okay. Let's go. What's up there, Machine Savage, Ketonius, my dear Ginger, my man Ghost. Hello, hello. What's up, Sui? What's up, Explu? What's up there, JR Betting? Karen, Vonabob Boostier, Sir Pogs, the lurkers out there. Hello, hello. Dankson, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Hello, honey. AMTT, Richard 10 May. Hello, what's up, Jalika Slava? Everyone out there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad your computer came, Machine Savage. Congrats, Ketonius, on the Satellite Pro status incoming. Man, winning satellites are so, in my opinion, if you have time and space to play them and you're stimulated by them, they're awesome, man. I've had so many awesome success stories off of satellites and getting into tournaments for cheaper. And if you have the time, you can build up tickets. It's just great, right? So we're just getting like a massive discount when we're able to get in for the satellite prices. Okay, so today, our study stream. This is our second study stream in preparation for the 2024 WSOP. The last stream, we went over my day 1A Venom run or lack thereof. And today we are going to just be going through my tagged hands. So whenever I don't have a specific hand history to look over and I want to stay sharp, I'm going to show you this. So here is my poker tracker. For those of you who don't know, !HUD in the chat. You can download a free trial of this, but basically I run this and it will store all my hands when I'm playing online. And then I can go back and I can study the different positions. Right here, you see these little icons. I tag different hands depending on what I'm looking to study. So I'll show you my, as this is our first kind of, I guess, formal study in this kind of section. Hang on a second. Where is it? Configure tags. Here we go. Okay, so these are the current tags that I use. So the calculator looking one here means I want to analyze this hand, and I had some questions post flop. Multi-way, I don't use this one too much. I do tag multi-way, but I don't have a multi-way solver. The ICMizer one here, this is one where ICM becomes a factor. Let me edit this actually, because I'm not using ICMizer for it. ICM-ish. Let's do this. Okay, so that is that tag. If you see the little money bag for discussion, this is when I bring up to peers or my coaches and I just want to get like pure non-theoretical thoughts on a situation. And then check range, this is just making sure that my ranges pre-flop are tight. So that's how I kind of categorize things and go through. So we can go through, I'm probably just gonna go through randomly like this. The way GTO Wizard is set up, it's nice. But if I wanted to just sort hands by all post-flop, what I used to do back in the day is just open every single one of my hands here that were for post-flop and then spend time studying post-flop. and then go through and just check all my ranges at once. But I think we can just go through hands and have some open discussion. If you guys and gals have any questions, just let me know. And these hands here currently, let's start in early position and then go from there. I want to sort from 2024. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, any thoughts, and we are going to get into it. So let's see here, this first one. We got a range checker. Let me see what we got here. Actually, we could probably just paste these in. All right, so here's the hand in a GTO Wizard that we want to check the range. What happened? Okay, actually, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play through the hand like that. I got to find my flow with this. So actually, this is fine. So, I kind of like replaying the hands like this. Okay, so let's see. What did I want to... I'm not exactly sure what... this is just a clear open. I wonder why I tagged this. Fold to 3. Okay, so this is probably what the question was. How light are people 3-betting us on this stack? This is just like, honestly, raising from 22 bigs here. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe this was some in-game weird thing going on, but this should just be an all-in from 20 bigs here, I believe, even though we're getting 3-bet. This feels like a very tight fold. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Fold, fold. So we are +1. We raise and the cutoff 3-bets us. And then it is back on us. You can click the HUD chip to show the guy's stats. The HUD chip. What do you mean, Ghost? Click on the HUD chip. I have the guy's stats here. Is this what you mean? We'll have to have a stats focused study session at some point. If people are interested, let me know. Top of the replayer looks like a chip. Yep, this one. And then okay, I'm trying to see, Ghost, what you mean. I did click the chip. No, I think I just, yeah, I think I just, well, I'm not sure what happened here in this hand, actually. I think this is just a get in, like a super easy get in. I can't believe I folded it. But here's the response. So under the gun, I raised with the ace queen offsuit, cut off 3-bet, it gets back to us. This is our response with ace queen. There's no folding here. It's just mostly all in. And then calling a small frequency at the time. Okay, I see. So maybe, so Ghost is suggesting maybe this player has some real nitty 3-bet stats. And that is definitely something to consider in this situation. If we're gonna fold here or not. If I were to click on, if I had enough hands and I were to click on their HUD and see that they're 3-betting 3%, right? Then okay, like I'm definitely there with Ghost, because a 3% range, just to give some of you an idea, if you do not know what that looks like, let me show you. So this is what 3%, if somebody 3-bets you, if you happen to be using a HUD, their 3-bet is 3%. Right, this is 3% right here. All right, we'll even put jacks in here. Jacks plus, jacks, queens, kings, aces, and then ace, king offsuit. This is 3%. If somebody is just 3-betting you with the top 3% of their hands, then I can very easily see why I folded here. In this specific situation, I don't really have, I've got 104 hands. They're leaning a little bit more. They look like they're playing an aggressive strategy. and their 3-bet pre-flop in a 38 hand sample is 8%. So 8% is more than 3%, obviously. But let me just give you an idea here. So here's 3%, and then here's 8%. Okay. So if we're up against an 8% 3-bet range, see how much better ace queen is going to be performing versus. There's going to be some ace jack off there. There's going to be some ace 10 suited, ace jack suited. There's going to be a bunch of hands then that we are also flipping with. So it's a much better situation than if it was just 3% here. You can see how challenging it's going to be for ace queen to win in this situation. What's up, BYDO? How are you? Good to see you today. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, good point by Ghost. And then going back to here, I'm really not sure what happened. What was going on March 17th that I raise folded ace queen offsuit here and then tagged it. I literally can't even imagine what was going on here. This is just such an easy get in. All right, machine. Cheers and enjoy your dinner. We will catch up with you later. Okay, wow. Crazy. I don't even know. I guess this is why you tag hands, huh? So you can see what's going on. I'm gonna go with my flow like this. We raise the jacks. This one is a post-flop situation that we want to check out. So we raise jacks. We're on 54 bigs. This player to our left 3-bets us. We make the call, and then the flop goes 9 high. They bet about a third of the pot. We decide to call. I think raising is an option for sure. I think theoretically they're going to lean towards this, but I really do like the idea of raising and trying to just get some of their high cards to hold out some equity. King, queen, ace jack, ace queen, ace king, that might be c-betting here. Ace king won't be folding here all the time to a check raise depending on what we do. But if you look at the pot right now, the way it's set up, before I make the call, 21 blinds out there. I have 49 blinds behind. This is already plenty of chips to fight for. But I think when we run this one, we're going to see theoretically they like a call. Turn goes the ace. It goes check, check. And then this is the weird situation. I'm at this point checking to get to showdown. And then they bet half pot, about half pot. And we do have the jack of hearts, so we want to turn our hand into a bluff potentially. Do they bet flop, check, turn and have many flushes here? I see why I tagged this one. My instincts here are to overfold versus the majority of players, even though bet, check, bet is usually a weaker line, but I don't know anything. This player's got some reggy stats through 177 hands. They're playing 28, 19, 11. So bet, check, bet from assumed experienced, more regular players is going to be heavier towards value, and versus more casual recreational players, typically the bet flop, check, turn, bet river line is going to be weaker. Here, I'm pretty sure I fold. Oh, I jam. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's going on. This is so funny. Okay, let me see. Let me read some comments from the chat now that you guys are seeing this. All right, so I decided to turn my hand into a bluff, assuming that this bet check bet line a lot of the time is used with an ace X. We're blocking jack 10. We're blocking some king jack, jack 10 suited in hearts hands. So I think the function of this bet is just to get an ace to fold. Function of my jam. Showing the stats over each player when we're playing the hand, similar to what you see in game. It's under options. Oh, well, see, I have the stats under each player. Lucky Draw MJ, maybe I'm tripping and not understanding you guys, but I have mine here to where you can't see the stats until I hover over them, because my like OCD gets triggered if the table looks too busy. So I kind of need them not to be seen so I can focus. Let's see, no flush, no ace. Professor, they'd probably barrel an ace, but you know what? Some weak aces, but then again, they 3-bet us pre-flop, so how many weak aces? They're going to have some like ace 6 and diamonds, right? That maybe 3-bet us pre-flop. Ace 5 and diamonds. The jack 10 or nothing. I clearly don't remember this hand. Let me see. Jam is okay. You can turn hands with a heart into a bluff. Higher the heart, the better, though. Okay, so we're going to run these. We're going to see. These are what the professor's got coming in for us. These are hot off the press. Let's see what happens. And we do get a fold. Now, we won the hand, but. Let's see here. Definitely need a vibe on this one. Okay, there we go. Unsupported number of players in this hand. Good sir, there is only 2 players in this hand. Let me see here. All right, we'll plug it in ourselves. There we go. That's what we get for trying to be a paster. Okay, so we raise in +1. What are we? 60 bigs effective. We raise in +1, and then the low jack 3-bets us. That gets back to us. All right, our response with jacks. So, wow, from 60 bigs, they like some all-ins here. I am not finding my 60 big blind 4-bet jams here, to be completely honest. It's such a condensed, like it's two combinations of hands, jacks and ace-king off. And none of them are full frequency. This is like, I'm completely personally going to just continue to not jam 60 bigs here if this is what the range looks like. It's just ace king and jacks, unless maybe Phil Ivey 3-bet me and it's like money bubble or something and I don't want to deal with it. I'll rip the ace king. But anyway, the second highest frequency play here with the jacks is to call, which is what we did end up doing in this example. Could he be turning his misdraw into a bluff as well with the river bet? I think so, Sui. I think so, and we're gonna be able to dig into that here in a second for sure, because that is a good question. That's what we need to figure out. Alrighty, now we make the call, and then we go to the flop. It is 9 of hearts, 8 of clubs, deuce of hearts. It goes check. They bet a third, and I call. All right, so. It goes check. They bet a third. That's not high option here. This is pretty much a third. We'll go with this. And then jacks. So we could see here, jacks does consider raising, which was one of our first thoughts, is we could raise here, try to fold out some of their random ace-x, king-x equity that they're going to have here. There's already 22 blinds in the middle. We got 49 blinds. This is a notable increase to our stack. And I would be happy just taking this away, to be completely honest. Like, I'm fine with that. Again, theory-wise, I was assuming that this is going to lean towards calling. And I seem to be correct. Theoretically, it is leaning towards a call, but it does enjoy a raise. The raise is not a jam, though, when it does raise. See, I am, theory-wise here with the jacks, it wants us to raise from 4 blinds, like 3x, the razor size here, half the time, and then call almost half the time. But you know what? In my opinion, personally, when we make it like 15 here, especially into another big stack, they're not really forced or faced with a tough decision. Their decision is if they have like ace, king, ace, queen, especially if they have ace, king of clubs, ace, queen of clubs, single heart, ace or king with their ace, king. We're just not giving them a decision, it doesn't feel like, man. Honestly, making it 15 here, they just call. And that's usually it. Especially if they're a competent player. Now, players that are going to overfold and over c-bet here, I don't mind the smaller sizing. But if this is a capable player, then I kind of just like getting it in. Like I said, I think there's a lot to already win here. But the theory answer is call or raise it to 3x. So let's continue from here. As played, I just called. The turn is a ace of clubs. And then we check, and they check. In this example, they check too, right? So check, check, turn. But now it's like, what should they actually be checking turn with, right? So if they turn, should they be checking turn? Now, if I'm remembering correctly, I think Professor had basically said they don't have Jack 10 or they don't have an Ace X here, if I read his message correctly. So they don't have an ace here when they check turn. That feels like a very important thing to focus on because the turn ace is a good bluff card. A decent amount of players know that they can fire here and maybe get, if I have like 7-8 suited, get an 8 to fold if they fire the ace. A lot of good aggressive players are going to continue betting through this turn when they have an ace as a bluff. So they kind of have to do it when they have an ace as well. So I think that plays into what Professor was saying, in that when they do check this turn, we're going to be able to discredit them for having an ace a lot of the time. And if this is a competent player and we do find out on the river that they did have an ace, a lot of the time it's going to be a weaker ace that they didn't think that they could bet all 3 streets and get called by a worse hand. So it's just going to be a 2-street hand. So now they have to decide if they want to bet flop, bet river, or bet flop, bet turn. And in this instance, I actually like me personally, I like checking with the weak aces on this turn, because while it does allow our opponent to draw at whatever they have for free, when they miss, they're going to be in a spot where, because we don't have an ace a lot, they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable bluffing their missed draws. So I really do like, if we believe that our ace X is a 2-street hand, I like the idea of bet check, call bluff, or bet check, bet as well. I think it serves a nice purpose versus the right player. Now, I'll say this. If I had an ace here and I had a sticky player or a calling type of player who's just call, 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 I do not want to check my ace here, because those same players are not bluffing the river out of position enough here. And those same players are going to continue to just call with any pair that they have on the flop and just call you down thinking you're bluffing. You know, they're making calling mistakes, and we just got to continue to bet versus those players. So, we're not even talking about my side with the jacks here. We're talking about being in their situation currently. AMTT, I see you with the redeem sub. I'm going to get you hooked up right now. Thank you for watching the stream. Thanks for supporting. Did I see my man James in the chat? James, you in the chat? Hang on a second. I think I saw Elijah too. All right. Oh man, Elijah. All right. Gifted sub. Complete. Good to see you out there. All right, now before we continue, let me just make sure I'm not behind on chat. I do like the 4-bet, not a 4-bet jam though. Okay, cool, yeah. On the flop, it was a check raise. But, oh, you're talking about the 4-bet. Yep, the 60 blinds. Yeah, I think it's a bit too heavy, tough to balance. The board is wet too, so value has to bet. People aren't balanced here at all. Yep, all right, I definitely feel that. All right, so check, check, turn. Let's take a look at our opponent's strategy. Now, they should be betting here a notable bit, checking back some of their turn top set of aces because they just crushed the board. Kings want to get to showdown a bit more, so we could see the green, meaning check, checking more. Queens wants to get the showdown, checking all the time. Jacks, if I was in position, want to check as well. But it does seem like the majority of the aces that they have here, it looks like the aces are leaning towards betting, even though there is, with the offsuit aces, a notable amount of checking here. And then once the suited aces here are checking a bit more when they do not have a flush draw, they are checking more and controlling the pot and kind of going towards what seems like, you know, the 2-street. Not strong enough to bet multiple streets. All right, so let's go ahead and give our opponent the old check. You're welcome, AMTT. Thanks for hanging with us. All right, 7 of hearts on the river. Now let's see. 7 of hearts on the river, the turn went check, check, and I decided to check. I actually don't know. It didn't come to the front of my mind if a small bet here, like a block bet, would be cool, or if we should just be checking it. Now that I'm thinking about it, gosh, we're just never getting an ace to fold block bet sizing. If they have 9, 10 suited, maybe an 8-10 suited, they would call a block bet here. So we could potentially still value bet. Maybe they check 10s on the turn, could still value bet that. This is an interesting one. Okay, so I'm actually considering a block bet when turn goes check, check here. Maybe I like the block bet. Actually, when the heart comes in, I kind of like it more. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so my strategy here, as the pocket jacks on this river, turn goes check, check. Jacks just wants to check 100% of the time. Don't think about anything else. How dare you? And the queens are the same thing. 10s want to check. Okay, so these strong pairs that are above the board are wanting to get to showdown. 10-9 suited here that we have is wanting to get to showdown. And then the queen 10 suited here looks like they just want to give up. So my leads are, if I had an ace in this situation, they want us to lead the river. Jack 10 suited, they want us to lead the river. When we, where is it? Yeah, Jack 10 suited, they want us to lead the river. Set of 9s, they want us to lead. Set of 8s, set of 7s. So basically, our top pair and really strong hands, whether or not we have a flush, we want to be leading when the turn goes check, check. But not jacks, not jacks. And in this example, we did check. And then this is where it gets interesting, because they bet half pot, which is, let's give them about, gosh, the sizings are off here, because how much will I have? I'm gonna actually give 9, B9. What's up, Neo Palua? How are you? How are you? All right, now my jacks is even to like a 40% bet here, 30-40% bet. Jacks is just mostly calling, but also doing some folding. And now I know this can be confusing, and I'm a rambler, you guys know that, especially when I get moving downhill. But so try to follow me and let me know if you have any questions. But seeing that they want jacks to fold here sometimes and call, just, it makes sense looking at what our opponent is supposed to be betting there. It's like the majority of their aces. So if somebody is just very ace high heavy when they bet the river here, we have to think about folding jacks. Right? But if they're going to be having some bluffs there, which if we go back, like, let's look at their strategy. What are they bluffing here? Sixes. They're bluffing sixes, which is under pair. They're bluffing some Jack 9 suited that blocks the straight. They are, it looks like bluffing some of their 9x. So they're bluffing some of their 9x. They're blocking or bluffing some of their King Jack and King 10, which are blocking the straights. So gosh, man, this almost makes me just want to fold, especially going out. I'll tell you this too, going out and playing live poker for the WSOP in the summer versus playing online. Like a lot of these solves that you're gonna see, man, you just really have to think about going back like we are here. Okay, like if we're calling jacks here, we have to assume that they're bluffing stuff and not just betting an ace. So what are their bluffs? Like, dang, man, in some of these like smaller buy-in live tournaments, dailies, all these things, people are not finding some of these bluffs. So our jacks hand now is just turning into like a fold a lot more of the time in this situation when they bet the river. In my opinion, I think that's one huge adjustment from online to live. Live players are nowhere even near properly value betting rivers in the majority of the, again, not talking about elite level live tournaments, the main event, things like that per se, but more the recreational players, lower live buy-in players. They're just not finding these bluffs. So just keep that in mind. That's just from my experience. That's how I have adjusted in situations. It sucks, man. And sometimes they will show up with random bluffs. but there's some calibration that needs to happen between playing online and live. And yeah, so now this has been a long hand, and the theoretical approach here for pocket jacks is mostly call and fold, and I chose to jam. So now thinking about that, now we go back and I'm jamming here. So what hands are betting this river that I can basically get to fold, because I'm not getting worse hands to call me, right? Am I getting the king 9 that is supposed to be betting this river? Am I getting the king 9 to ever call here when I do this? Maybe if it's the king 9 and hearts with the king of hearts, but now that means, I don't think that makes sense too much, because that means they would have 3-bet me pre-flop with king 9 offsuit. So that doesn't really make sense. So my jam here is very specific. The only function of my jam here is to get an ace to fold. So let's see in this example. Now we're going to go look at theory and see if theory is going to have the aces that are betting, the one pair aces, folding to a jam. That is the question. Does queen fold? That bets the river. So queens though. So perfect. Let's start there. So let's see if villain, our opponent on the river. Now our opponent on the river is, let me see here. Let me just make sure I'm gonna check. Our villain on the river is checking these ones, checking queens, just wanting to get to showdown. Okay, now let me see my under the gun. I went all in. Now we want to see how this, so they're flipping, they're calling. What are they calling with? Okay, so they're calling with the king jack, king 10 flushes, obviously, but they don't know that. So here's the thing here. We have the jack of hearts. So this is why what Professor brought up earlier is important. Is like he was saying that the higher up the heart we have, the better in this situation if we're turning our hand into a bluff. And this is exactly why, because now look at the hands that call our check jam on the river. And it shows you here. So I'm hovering over the king jack here, and you see the only king jack hand here that's betting the river and then calling our jam is king jack of hearts. But we have the jack of hearts in this example. So now they don't have this hand here as we're looking at it. They don't have the queen jack suited. They don't have the jack 10 suited. So now there's only 7 combinations. No, what is this? They don't have the ace jack, two combinations with the jack of hearts here of ace jack off that would call, doesn't call. So look at all those hands that now, because we have the jack of hearts, that's how important this is, how much more an opponent betting here is going to have to fold. Then they will, so basically they're only calling some ace jack here when we jam on the river. Not the ones, so it would be the ones with the ace of hearts. And yeah, and is this one queen of hearts? Yeah. But they're like folding all of their other stuff. So gosh, yeah, man, I really do. Yeah. I mean, people aren't even finding these queen 10. The majority of people are not finding this jack 10 suited is not in here of the hands that call. So it's like, I'm not even convinced that majority of players or population of players are finding the 3-bets pre with the king 10, queen 10 suited. So their range on this river is just ace highs. And I just don't think, actually, I would bet that the ones that they're supposed to call, players are supposed to call with the ace jack and ace queen here, because people aren't taking my jam line, they're going to be over folding here. We just like fold all their aces out. We literally just fold all their aces out. And anyone getting cheeky like me sometimes on the river, trying to value bet queens versus jacks. So specific. and kings. If kings could, I think, find a value bet here on the river, if I don't bet an ace, actually more so when the flush does come in, but interesting one. And then they do fold. So honestly, I think that I kind of like, even though this isn't a theoretical jam here, I kind of like it though, man. I really do still kind of like this jam. Even just reverse engineering it and thinking about how often they don't have, I mean, we'll jam into like the king, queen of hearts sometimes, and maybe the ace, queen of hearts, ace, king of hearts. You know, we'll jam into that sometimes. But if we think our opponent is capable of properly value betting the river, I still like this jam. And we do have 177 hands on this player. They're betting enough. They're at like betting half the time on the river. So if I were to have looked at my stats in real time, there's a bit more comfort over the jam here. They're going to be thin value betting the river enough. If they are a competent player, it's, again, just a lot of the time, competent players on this board, if they bet, check, bet, there's a single ace and there were some draws, they're going to have an ace a lot of the time, especially in position. So, yeah, I kind of dig it. Actually, I really like it, but I think that I would lean towards folding the river. My preferred choices, I'm flipping a coin between folding river and jamming river, and then my last preferred choice is to just call in this situation. That's where I'm feeling right now. I think that's where I want my default instincts to lie in this spot. Cool. Any thoughts or questions on that, everyone? That was an interesting one. Very thought-provoking. That's what we want. All right, let's see. What's up, Vader? Says population in low to mid stakes events overfold in this spot. I think calling is losing play. Yeah, because people aren't properly value betting, right, Vader? But for the ones that are, they're just going to massively overfold. And I think we just fold when we don't have the jack of hearts. I think that hand is just done and we fold the majority of the time. Honestly, the value of how much of their calling range is just gone when we have the jack of hearts. So I think that's how we balance that out and pick between call, not even call. Gosh, call, man. People are not betting their 9x there. I really don't like call. Theoretically, call was in there, and it's because it was assuming people would be properly value betting a 9x. If, you know, out of position checks you on an ace high board, it's basically saying, oh, they're not going to have an ace a lot here. It's assuming that players are properly leading out like a third pot or whatever there when they hit an ace, but it's not. But off that assumption, they're betting their, you know, 9x. And then off that assumption, now we're able to call with our jacks. Like, I don't think we're there yet, man. But you know what? If I'm playing a Triton again, I'm going to keep that in mind. If I'm playing a Triton, I'm going to mix in 20% with that jacks with the jack of hearts and make the call. Let me see. Yes, Ghost. That one was tagged. Let me see here. That jacks hand was tagged for solver run. Or was there somewhere else you wanted me to tag it or something on GTO Wizard? Specifically, Sui, have you seen overfolding to just straight up river bets or check raises? Thanks, Vader. Good to see you in the chat, bro. Let's get this, man. Let's get ready for the summer, huh? So I had this one tagged as a pre-flop. I just ripped here. And typically we're going to see these, and we saw this in an example, the last example with the jacks, wanted to rip like 60. And I told you, I was like, if I didn't want to play out of position or whatever was going on, I'll rip the ace king offsuit. We wouldn't want to be ripping the suited at this stack depth. I think we just get a fold, right? But I think I wanted to see the frequency of jamming. That's why I tagged this one. Because watch, this is going to be probably like majority all in versus this 3-bet at this stack depth. And then it's going to be a smaller, actually might mix some calling here, which I don't hate, especially in live poker. Just flatting a 3-bet here with ace king. I will do that more in live poker than I would online, especially in certain fields. But this is going to probably lean towards just re-raising here at 52 blinds, and we're not re-raising the fold. So once you 4-bet 53 blinds with ace king, you kind of already know you're going with it, right? So you have to, I feel like in live poker, that whole thing is different. When people jam 53 blinds at you in the majority of live tournaments, they're going to have ace king. You're going to have ace king too, but they're just not really but better players. If they think you're full of it, they're ripping ace queen offsuit. So they, against good players that like put you all in here or go all in for like 53 bigs, they're going to have ace queen enough. You know, you just call. But you know, there's some live players ranges that if they 4-bet jam in this situation, they are just going to have that 3%. Again, their hands are going to look like, especially if it's some sort of a daily, right? Their hands are just going to look like this, the top 3%. Like that is just what live poker is. It's going to be like this. So like, how do you feel about your ace king here? You get to chop sometimes. You get 30% when you're versus kings and queens. You know, so I think that's kind of how we need to feel about the situation, and then decide whatever you want to do in the moment. Because of course there's always going to be other factors to variable in. Are we near the money? Am I able to re-enter? Is it late reg? You know, I feel like those things all matter, and everyone's situations can be uniquely different. You know, the person who's going to fire 5 bullets into this live tournament here, okay, whatever. But if this is a part of your budget, you know, and you don't want to be in a 53 big blind pot, you know, I think we'll actually still going to see that you can call here sometimes. Let's go. What are we at? 50. Let's look at this at 50. I just don't think this game is just so cut and dry sometimes as like, and that's the fun in it, man, is having to go through all these scenarios and think about these things. What's up, So Crazy? How are you? Ace king suited 4 bets, not all in. Correct. Yep. Professor is right. Let's see. Okay, so we are +1. We raise it up, and then the button hits us with the 3. Whoops, not that one though. Raise. And then it gets back to us in the +1. So ace king offsuit. Okay, no calling. No calling, even though I don't hate just calling in live poker with ace king offsuit in this situation. Okay? I do not hate it, but it is not theoretically sound. The ace king offsuit though does like the all in my exact hand here. I chose to go all in, and I wanted to just check my frequencies on this one. And yeah, the ace king offsuit likes the all in, and then it does also though just like the make it 16 blinds in this situation. It also likes, but it does, if we are going to be doing any shoving here, again, this is just so condensed too though. Ace king. Okay, I'm shoving ace king, queens, jacks, ace 4. It's like, man, I just assume that I have like edge, especially in a live tournament versus just like non-elite players. I probably just don't even have a 4-bet all in here. I'm not sure. It really just depends, because look at that strategy. It's just like, it feels kind of easy to play against. What's up, Carney Prince? How's it going today? And then, no, this one is, so the ace king machine savage. No, the ace king suited. This is the difference between ace king offsuit and ace king suited. If you're deep enough, the solver is going to want you to not go all in, but re-raise. Like exactly like this, like almost all the time. But the offsuit, once you're like 60, 50, 40 blinds, the solver will start liking shoving with ace king offsuit specifically. Now, once you get down to like a situation like 20 bigs, for instance, though, in this exact same scenario, these ace kings now just become all ins, like 100% from like 20 bigs. You see? So you have to be deep enough for the solver to want the non all in 3-betting from ace king suited, because once you're shallow, like everyone's just getting it in. So let's just look at 30 all in this situation with ace king. You have 30 bigs, you're just all in, no flatting. Now 20 bigs was the same thing. Let's look at 40 bigs. 40 bigs still, just stick it in. And then at 50 bigs is when the non all in 4 bets start happening with the ace king suited and some other hands, you see? So basically we could probably compartmentalize this as once we are 50 big blinds or more, we're just, for the most part, except for like stuff like this, just taking out the all-ins with the ace kings and starting to look to go non all-in with aces kings. And again, live, you know what I mean? Like you could just manipulate so much stuff all the time, so it's kind of different. But okay, so no calling, stick it in. Carney, what is my first WSOP event? You know what? We're chilling. I'll pull it up real quick. I have a schedule. Oh, it's not coming up, is it? What is this? My first one, I believe, is... yeah, the freeze out with the people, the players, the crew, everyone that's out there, end of May. This is the event that 2 of the people from my home game series are going to win a package to go play. So I will be starting then as well. I'll be driving, getting there by like the 28th or whatever, getting ready for the 29th. This will be my first one. And then on the 1st, I'll play the 1K Mystery Millions, the 1K Super Turbo Bounty, 1500. Oh, this is exciting. They moved the shootout up. This used to be later in the summer. This is the $1,500 buy-in where you got to win your table. It's like you play a bunch of sit and goes and you got to win like 4, 5 sit and goes to get a bracelet. 4 sit and goes maybe to win a bracelet. So this is pretty sick, but yeah. I'll see you there, buddy. Hope so on the birthday luck. I hope so. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up the next one. Let's see what this is. By the way, if you're enjoying the study stream and you want to sign up on GTO Wizard, we have a link in the chat, !GTOW. And what I'll say is this, is if you've been curious about studying your own game, learning from a solver, seeing some of this mathematical stuff play out, and just maybe sometimes you're just curious, it's like, oh man, was that play good or bad? And maybe you don't have anyone to talk to. You could just plug it into here and you could get some answers and find some comfort and whatnot. But the important thing is I will be doing more of these study streams leading up to when I leave for Vegas for the 2024 WSOP. It looks like it's going to end up being like 9 or 10 streams. I know I said 10 to 15, 9 to 10 study streams. And now's the time to ask questions, watch how I'm using it, see how you could utilize it so that you can study on your own and get better. But if you're new, you can use our link in the chat and then get 10% off and just get to learn how to use it. Because that's kind of the toughest part with solvers, running sims and things like that, and like studying, is kind of knowing how to study, knowing how to use the tools. So it's just a good time. We'll bang it out. We'll get ready for the WSOP. And this is a... okay. So what do you think of this? Let's ask you guys. I tagged this one to decide if I should be calling off here. What do you guys think? You raise pocket 4s in early position. I want to call off here, by the way. I want to call off, but I think that this is going to be closer to a sevens call for sure. Like you just can't fold 7s. Ketonia says this is a 70-30 spot for me. So 70% fold, 30% call, I'm assuming. What's up, Quark and Sui say fold. O2 Fist says fold. What is the tournament? I don't know, Ghost. I do not know which tournament this is, so we'll just assume that this is a non-high stakes tournament versus average players in a non-PKO tournament. Polish Pistol says, worst case, it's a flip fold. Okay. Let's get some answers, shall we? Let's get some answers. I want to call, but I think I should be folding. Let me see what I did. Boo, boring. All right. Gosh, this guy's boring, huh? Fold. Live a little, man. Live a little. Oh my gosh, non-existent because I'm opening the 4s under the gun and it only wants 5s. All right, let's do it ourselves. We'll do it ourselves. What are we on? Effective at 15 bigs. What is actually better? I like this. Let's see. 17 and 14. This is kind of close. We're going to have to run this through some spots here. So raise and then the button goes all in. Ooh, tighter than where I was at. Golly, man. Really? 7-7 bottom your calling range. We're looking at 9s here, Vader. 6-6 plus. It says P Quilty. Yeah, gosh, I'm so degenny. I'm too like Thursday night cash game at rounders mode, wanting to call those 4s there. You know, splashy live game. I like what this looks like. I'm cool with this. I think 8s is like in the conversation for me. But so now this is based off this calling range for us, modeled off of this situation. When I open my 4s here, this is saying that they are jamming. The button here is jamming their ace kings. Okay, 17 bigs, easy. Ace queens, yep, easy. King queen suited, some other broadways, yep. Suited broadways, ace queen offsuit, and then they have ace jack offsuit. That's what they're saying, that they're kind of jamming from some of their stronger Broadway-ish cards in this situation. And then they got the queens, jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s. So we're dominated when we're calling all of these small pairs. Some players will find the 5s jam here. Right, so even the worst hands basically that they're playing and even jamming here, we're just always flipping or dominated. So that's why it's wanting us to call 9s plus. And this seems fair. This seems quite fair from that side. So then now when it gets back to us, all in 17 still, and this is me under the gun. Oh, it does actually have a slider. What one were we just looking at? Let me make sure we got our thing right. Under the gun, folds, button, all in. Yeah, 17. Oh, we must have, I must have been clicked on the big blind or something there. Actually, we didn't even click all the way to under the gun. So this is better. Geez. Make sure you look up here, everyone. If you're ever wondering, this bar right up top is basically showing us the variables that we're inputting, so we understand like how they are getting to this point. So if you ever see me at like small blind, you need to make sure that you're actually back to your position. See how it's under the gun? I clicked raise and then folds to the button, who in this example 3-bet jams the 16 blinds at us. So this will match that situation. So they go all in and then fold, then now I'm clicked here, this green, it's highlighted. Now it's back on us, and this is our reaction to that range. So it's not 9s plus. What's up, BN Willia? How are you? Good to see you out there. Okay. Oh, nice. Let me see. Did you? Yes. So BN Willia, I'm going to get to your question at the end of this session. What are we in? About an hour? We'll probably go 2-3 hours. Let me know if you're going to be here because I want to make sure I address those, okay? They were good questions. Like I felt where those questions were coming from. Polish Pistol, if you want to show a hand or something, put it in the Discord and then let me know once you've done it in the poker hand section. Okay, so here versus the 17 big blind jam. Vader, yeah, no, it seems like some of you, what did you say here? I think I fold 7-7 bottom of calling range. Yep. So it looks like you definitely hit here nicely on this. Makes more sense. P Quilty, yeah. It's like, dang, that's nines, but still, even they're jamming some of the smaller pairs, you know. I probably live poker. Nah, man. I actually don't think I'm okay whatevering sevens here versus like a live player jamming, a random live player jamming 16 bigs. But eights does feel like, am I really performing that much differently than nines, right? So it likes us to call some ace 10 suited, ace queen off. Fours isn't in there though. So this is a, fours are just not in there. That is a big point. Okay, cool. Sounds good, Bienwilia. All right. So there you go. There's your 17 big blind call range after opening early position. Let me see 14 if this changes much. Not really. Sixes calls more actually. Sixes and sevens was in there. Sixes calls more if it's 14 big. So still fours is just not even in there versus that. Okay. What's up, Barney? Yeah, so on this one from the 14, what do they have in the jamming? So I'll click back here on button, and now we're back to... Yeah, no, you're correct in assuming that. It looks like the jams that they are all in for 14 bigs, because we did just adjust from 17 are sevens plus. Oh, 100% Vader. The 4-4 under the gun, I couldn't even plug it into GTO Wizard because it says non-existent spot, which means that you from, well, this is running at like, oh wait, 36 here, opening range. Let me see. What's the opening range? Let's just pull this up. But yeah, fours is fold. I think we're just starting at fives, but it's like, I'm definitely folding the threes and twos. Let's see. So I'm actually effectively like 35. PPV, let me see here. So let's see 35 under the gun. So for 35 under the gun, they don't mind the fours open. It's in there. I honestly would have thought it's just like fives is where it starts to become pure, but yeah, fours is actually in there a decent bit. It did feel wide, but I would say yes, that there is an argument for folding fours under the gun very easily. Very easily. Oh yeah, definitely low jack is different because there is a player sitting out over here, so we are technically closer to the button. That is a good point. So here now, +1, low jack. Fours opens, low jack. It's interesting that between under the gun and +1, it tightens up with fours. But yeah, low jack fours is in there. But yeah, the point is made. So I think when we're starting to kind of focus on fringy spots, like it could go one way or another, I think for me, the gauge that I like going to is like, if I ever feel like a spot's close, it's like, is it a tougher table? Do I think I'm going to get this raised through a bunch of the time? If yes, then okay, I'll raise the fours here. If it is a table of tough players who I think I'm going to get 3-bet a lot, or they're going to properly defend their blinds and then they're donk leading, you know what I mean? Just a tougher table than the fringy spots like this one, then I would just lean towards folding. And I think that'll just like balance it out, generally speaking, through similar stack sizes, similar stack depths. Cool, good questions. Let me see. Dub says, shouldn't we be looking at low jack versus button? Well, we're looking at low jack now with the opens with the fours. But yes, let's do here. Let's run it now. So also, Let's see what the call looks like. Let's see if it changes. Oops, let me do this. Okay, so we raised, let's run it from low jack opening and then button all in for 17. So here we go. So using that arrangement, which is more accurate here, if you count back from the button, cut off, hijack, low jack. All right, so low jack versus button. And we are still calling, oh, that's small blind. We did that last time, remember? So it gets back to us in the low jack and calling fives here in this situation. So they're right. We're not technically under the gun and we should analyze. You know what's weird? You know what's interesting, actually? We should be analyzing it as if we're low jack, even though we start here first to act. And I think it's easy to just think under the gun first to act. But you know what? I think, even though we should be kind of studying and analyzing it from the other way, with the tools to get like, that's assuming that this player is also looking at this as a low jack open before they jam and not looking at it as an under the gun open before they jam. Do you know what I mean? And if I had to guess, I think that, and I'm speaking about the population, obviously, I think the one thing that needs to go without being said is I don't play like high rollers. I don't play like, I'm not faced up against, you know, the most elite players in the world. I don't play those games. You know what I mean? Like high stakes, things like that. A lot of the players, I think, in below that, you know what I'm saying, type of level is what I'm usually going to be talking about. So in this situation, the majority of people in that space, I actually do think that they would be jamming their 16 big blinds on the button versus my under the gun opening range versus jamming their 16 bigs on the button here versus my low jack opening range. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that they're looking at it the first way and not the second way. So we almost need to, I think it'll be more beneficial to us as a whole if we base it off of their jamming over an under the gun open, because I think that's how the majority of people are think. So that I feel like could help us calibrate our ranges better. But you guys are also right. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you guys feel that? Does anyone get that? Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind? What's up, Dussel? Good to see you out there. All right, Post Pistol, remind me in a second, and then I will check out your hand, okay? Vader Poker says low to mid stakes population sees this as versus under the gun. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm glad I'm kind of not alone on that, because it's so interesting, man, because I just think that's how the majority of people look at it, man. They're going to see it as an under the gun open and their range is going to be a responding versus under the gun. God Body, welcome back. Thank you for the 23 months. Let's see. Dub says agree. Also, my read on ACR population at 55s and under is that 3 bets are under bluffed versus low jack and earlier opens. So could fold more too, huh? For ACR population read. That seems fair. That seems fair. I feel that. Okay, cool one there. And I really like, again, this is due to you in the chat speaking up. I like that people brought up the point of the low jack versus button, because it also brought up a point, you know, depending on which way you're looking at it, man. Yeah, kind of the perspective on that situation can really drastically affect the ranges that we're inputting and the output that we're getting from using the GTO wizard. All right, so this is a range question. Let's see, another under the gun versus 3 bet. Oh, so this one. See, you know what? My immediate instincts when I raise here under the gun and somebody jams in the big blind for 19 bigs, we'll call it 20 bigs. if this was the other way around and there was like a jam here for 20 bigs, I think this range that they're gonna want if it folds to us to call is like fives, ace 10 jam. No, that's more like 10, 15. 20 is different. 20 is different. But what they would want us to call like 10 to 15 blinds here, fives, ace 10, you know, and better. I think that's going to be a similar calling range in this situation. I think that they're going to want us to call fives, ace 10. I don't know. They're jamming 19 bigs versus our under the gun open. Maybe they won't be that wide. Maybe it won't be similar to that range. This might be similar to what we just saw. It might be a sevens, eights. I'm going to say actually versus an under the gun open here, they're going to assume eights and then our ace jack suited type of stuff. Seventh also, you think the bottom here? All right, let's see. Let's take a peek. Let's see what we did. We folded. Okay, I think it's a good fold. Let's see if this one will upload for us. Oh, no, open five's going on here. All right, let's do this. So what are we at? So we're gonna run this 20 effective. We're up under the gun. And they jam. In the big blind. Okay, back to us under the gun. And yeah, sevens plus. So eights here, the ace jack suited, ace queen offsuit. Okay. So yeah, this feels like a fine kind of calibration for this calling spot. Calling the king queen suited. I want to. Folding mostly. King jack, I'd rather call king queen suited than the king jack suited. King jack suited, not good. Not a good runner with king jack suited. Okay, so I think that one's kind of, you know what, honestly, I feel like I feel like this is like baseline calling range in a lot of scenarios when we are sub 30 big blinds. Like if we were to categorize this just visual in our head, this like long arrow right here, this like scorpion poon, you know, we get over here, like when he shoots it out of his arm. I feel like if we picture that right here as the scorpion point, this model is going to represent eights plus, ace queen offsuit, ace jack suited, like a general starting point for a lot of calling sub 30 big blinds versus all ins. How do you look up a hand that was played on ACR days ago? You could check in your ACR client. You can go to the settings and check hand history settings, Ketonius, and then you could find the folder on your computer where your hand histories are saved, and then you can go in there and find the dates with the files, and then open up the date if you know. So it's kind of a process. If it was from days ago and you had Poker Tracker, then that's easier because you could, whoa, you guys, what's up with my hair? Then that's easier because then you can search the dates in your Poker Tracker more specifically. Alrighty, so we fold here. Gave him the old zinger. Let's check out this one, another Ranger. Barney, you want to see big blind reshove? Okay, good question. Let's see, big blind. Oh, that's a great question actually. So here's big blind strategy. So in this hand, okay, great question actually. Let's go back because this seems like a very good spot to have another visual. Okay, so yeah, this is a great spot to build a visual here. Great question. What are they jamming here? We didn't even get to that. We just focused on our calling and the Scorpion Harpoon. 8 plus ace jack suited is the calling area. But what are they jamming? What should we be jamming? 19 bigs in the big blind versus under the gun open. The answer is this. So we should be calling everything suited, Holding no man's land here, the no man's land gnome, and then jamming all in. So they got the pocket fives in there, sevens, eights, nines, tens, jacks, queens, ace king offsuit, ace king, ace queen, some king 10 suited. Not everyone's finding these ones. These ones people are finding a little bit more, but I think majority of people are just calling. So what does the big blinds 3-bet shoving range look like here? I would say that only more aggressive players are going to kind of get close to this, you know, hitting some of the ace x suited here, the pocket fives, the sevens. I think if you're playing like low mid stakes online and low mid stakes live, I think that those ranges, those players are not going to be finding the fives jam ever, the fours jam ever, the ace 4 suited, ace 5 suited. They're going to be so happy to just see a flop and call off 20 with ace 5 suited, ace 4 suited, king 10 suited. Even me, man, I'm fine. I'm ready to go, you know, show me 3 with king 10 suited in the big blind here. I'm not, especially live, finding this 100% frequency jam with king 10 suited. Right, so kind of thinking about how other players are jamming here can help us to adjust our calling range if necessary. Because right now we know our calling range is the 8s plus, the scorpion harpoon, ace queen off, ace jack suited. That's our calling range. But now that's based off this jam. So if we assume that players are jamming tighter here, you know, how, or looser, how do we want to adjust our strategy? Then we should call, yes, Barney is correct. If they're jamming tighter, then we have to call tighter. If they're jamming looser, then we get to call looser, or we get to call proper, you know, our 8s plus and everything. So yeah, thinking about adjusting, that's a good point too. All right, so we did. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Look, we have the king 10 suited. Are we in the big blind? This would be so funny. Oh, I wish we were, just to see if I would find this king 10 suited. I was just saying that I would call this in a big blind versus under the gun. Sleep well. Okay, so we raise it. 3-piece. Ah, from this stack depth, man. I don't hate my hand calling, seeing a flop. I'm gonna know how to play it when the flop comes. I call off another 6.5 blinds. I'll still have 28 blinds from 34. I'm still kind of have my same options available to me. It feels like I said, a lot of flops I think are gonna be easier to play on some, even though it does suck when we hit a king, because if their 3-bet range is just like king queen, if it even has king jack suited in it here, that might just rather call. But like some king queen suited, ace king suited, ace 10 suited is, you know, when I'm hitting pairs, I do have to be a little bit careful. Let's see, did fold. So I'm wondering then if I tagged it like this too, for sure, I'm definitely wondering if I'm making a tight fold or if there's room to call. I don't think that this player's ever folding, so I don't think we have any fold equity if we 4-bet jam here. So it's really, do I want to call with a still operational stack? I could flop big. This feels like loose. This feels like this is just, we're gonna plug this in and this is just gonna be king queen suited, barely call. This is gonna be a king queen suited, call less than half the time, folding king jack suited, king 10 suited getting folded. It's gonna, I think we're gonna be pretty tight calling range here. I think their 3-bet was, so it depends now, Professor. Professor says, I think their 3-bet was too big. But depending on what they're trying to accomplish, maybe it wasn't too big. What if this is, and I think, and I bring that up because I think it's a little bit more empowering. Think about what we're trying to accomplish. And especially if you're like newer at poker and you want to speak and you play a more simpler strategy, if this player's thoughts now, whether or not this player's 3-bet size is too big, I think comes down to whether or not this player, if they're like, okay, I just want to get a fold here, you know, with my ace king, then they're gonna 3-bet bigger. They're like, I think he'll fold more here. I'm fine with that. If he goes all in, I'll call. They kind of know what they're gonna do, but they wouldn't mind inducing more folds. If that were the case, then I think that they picked a good 3-bet sizing. You know, they didn't want to incur any variance, even though they're dominating a lot of hands. Like if they have ace king here and I have king 10, they're dominating me. But I think, you know, that could have been functionally a good sizing for what they were hoping to accomplish. Now, let's say that this was us in roughneck seat, and Phil Ivey was Phil Ivey, Jason Kuhn, whoever else, right, is sitting in this chair. We're playing them. We just satellited into the the Triton High Roller Series. We're playing these bosses, right? And I have ace king, maybe even ace queen, and tens jacks or something, let's say. And I would prefer to just take it down here versus like one of the greats and put them in a spot where, yeah, they do overfold, right? Like I much more like 3-betting in that scenario. I would much more like 3-betting to a bigger sizing where they overfold versus a smaller sizing where they just continue. Like, let's say I would much prefer this sizing as a 3-bet versus like a 3-bet to 4 blinds here, because then they just always continue. And now I'm playing post flop versus somebody that I know I don't have an edge versus. Do you see? So it's interesting to think about. And yeah, I think that should come into our decision making at certain times. It kind of just, the situations and that we're in are just all kind of slightly different. Do you get what I mean? I don't know. There's so many little things to consider and think about. And then what you want to accomplish. How are you having fun playing poker? Like, why do you want the situation to play out? You know? Little loose to call. What's up, River Hates Me? How's it going? What's up, K Bruce? How is it? Either he doesn't want the call or he wants you to think that. Yeah, that seems fair. I mean, they could for sure. This could be a player also. You know, when I think this 3-bet sizing is too big. Now let's do the other side of that. I will now try to prove that this sizing, or justify that this sizing is too big now. We justified that it doesn't have to be too big, but now we're going to justify that it is too big. Let's say this player here has pocket aces, and they're 3-betting up to 8.5 here. But their goal is to get all the chips in the middle, right? Maybe they are thinking in their mind that, oh, I'll try to look like I'm trying to steal it here. I'll go bigger. And if that's the reasoning, then I think that the sizing is too big, because people are just going to fold more the more you make it. If they're playing a mathematical game, when you 3-bet them more, you bet bigger, you raise bigger. Mathematically, the solvers, all those things are going to tell people to fold more if they're that type of player. If they're not that type of player, they're still connecting with, oh, this is a bit more of my stack. This is a lot more chips. Maybe this could look stronger. People are just going to fold more as well. So if you have aces here and you're making it 8.5, then I think that you are making it too big, because you are just going to get way more folds. Aces is too strong of a hand. You want action. You want people to continue. Your heads up. You don't have too many chips behind. It's not going to be overly difficult to get all in when you 3-bet for your last 18, 19 big blinds or 20 big blinds. It's not going to be too hard post flop when the pot is already going to be 10 to 12 blinds to get in that last 20, right? So you don't need to overinvest in a 3-bet here and get more people to fold, unless you've just been running bad with aces and you're like, I'd rather win a small pot than lose a big one. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then guess what? This bet was correct. All right. All right, let's see here. So what happened? I folded. Did we even look at this one yet? Oh no, this was going back to, no, this is raise. Oh yeah, this is just gonna be a fold. I don't even know why I tagged this one. Let's go. Let's go to another one. Oh yeah, to call. I just know it's not a call here. I got sidetracked. I should bring that one back up actually, because I did also say that. Okay, this is going to be king queen suited, some ace jack suited, right? So here, let's run this scenario. Even though it's awkward though, because we got caught up on this 3-bet size, non-traditional 3-bet size. All right, so raise and the button. It's funny because the re-raise is only to 5, so king 10 suited still probably. All right, so here is the calling range. Now this is versus a normal size 3-bet on this stack depth. Oh wait, actually this player is a little bit bigger. I can make this 25 blind. Hang on. But they chose a larger sizing, so we have to just keep that in mind as we're looking at this. But oh, look at this. So on a normal sizing, they don't mind the call with the king 10 suited under the gun, right? Boom, boom. Yep. So versus a normal sizing, they don't mind the call with the king 10 suited. Actually, king queen suited. I definitely thought it was going to be tighter. They are on 25. Yeah. I definitely thought it was going to be tighter. So to a normal size, we could do that. This would be one that we would have to run through in actual sim. Why? Well, I wish it would just let me plug it right in, because oh, it does. Okay, hang on a second. Let's see. This should bring up those sizings now, I think. What's up, Wombo? How's it going? Cheers. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Is this for MTT review or cash games? This is for MTT review right now. River Hates Me wants to know, when you are up against a defender or a situation in that button position, wouldn't you prefer a bigger 3-bet? No, you have me personally, I wouldn't prefer a bigger 3-bet unless I want to build a bigger pot or increase somebody's folding frequency. But for me, I would. It's easier. I'm on the button. I'm going to have absolute last position. Or, you know, action. I can see what they do first. I'm in position. Strong hand. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, see, it still doesn't even though it has the hand, it's not giving the sizing that he actually chose, huh? Okay, so we need to call a bit more here. Let's see what the replay has. So we raised, and then the tree piece, and then yeah, it just has us call. So king 10 suited even versus the 8.5 on this stack depth. Just a call. So we did make a tight fold here. I'm glad we looked at this one. 100% call. 8.5 sizing is janky though. So yeah, wrong move. We blew it. All right, so let's see if we can run like that. That was a good way to look at it. Because then it's just going to show us the immediate what was right or wrong, it looks like. So let's take a look at this hand. So we raised early position. And then there is a call. Okay, so this is a post-flop hand. So situation comes up. We flop a flush draw. They got 35 blinds behind. We got 6 in the middle. We have the lead. Check. And I decided to bet. They call. Turn is a deuce, a brick. I decided to check. And then they bet the river there. So I tagged this. I believe that I should be betting turn. I also I don't mind the idea of checking flop here at a frequency. At 35 blinds effective, how many this player has, I cover, I have 40. But at 35 blinds effective, I don't mind getting it all in on this flop, right? So I don't mind betting. Sometimes though, I wouldn't mind checking. Let's see what this, so we go here, got a barrel turn. I like barrel turn. Well, see, here's the thing. I like barreling turn to try to get like a 10x to fold, maybe an 8s or 9s that might have called flop, an ace 5 suited that might have called pre-flop, maybe even a jack. I like barreling the turn to try to get those hands to fold. But what really sucks is when we bet the turn here, maybe let's say 2/3 pot, and they jam on us. That sucks the most. So I think check is probably going to be fine here. It really comes down to the stack depth. If we have 20 bigs, then I think we would like rather jam than bet small and even think about folding turn. So let's take a look at this one. All right, let's take a peek. What do we got here? Replay the hand. So we raise, call small blind, check, and we decided to bet 2.1. And that is the highest frequency play, betting a third on the flop with the ace-6 of diamonds. They call. The turn is a deuce, so we decided to check, which is not the highest frequency play. This is a very clear bet larger. So they want to see 8.8 and a 9.6. I said like 75%. That's usually where I'll land here with the sizings that I utilize to execute my game. So they like larger size on the turn. So I guess that's assuming that they're not going to be, small blind's not going to be jamming and putting us in too many bad spots. But it also, that said, it does not mind checking at a frequency. And the river is a 7. They bet, and then we just fold. Okay, so we played that. We missed the turn. So the turn is where we should lean towards barreling, which I like. All right, cool. And then just the river fold. What do we got here? Oh, we just did that. All right, we got another post flopper. So we've been studying a lot, actually, EP. Let's look at, let me switch this because this is already, we've been going for an hour and a half. Let's look at, you guys want to look at big blind situation? Let's look at some big blind situation. We play those spots a lot, right? We'd actually talked about this the other day. All right, so how often we play hands in the big blind, we should be studying those spots more. So let me pull up some of those for you guys so we can have some conversation here. Oh, don't show the hands. What are you doing, bro? Okay, so we have an open. We defend the king 10 offsuit. And we are floating here with 2 overs. Backdoor flush draw, straight draw. To the small bet. We hit the turn. Check, check. And then, okay. What am I value betting? Jack 10. Jack 10, queen 10. Maybe an ace 8, king 8 that might call us. One pair hand. My sizing is just... My sizing, I don't think here is... I need to go smaller. I think I need to go like under 3 or around closer to 3 to try to give them enough money or enough room to make a lighter call. I think this bet sizing, which is, it looks like it's 40%. It still feels a little bit big to get called by these one pair hands that I'm targeting that are not a 10. They're not going to have, from where they opened pre-flop, they are not going to have some 9x. Not as much as they would have on the button. So when we get to the river, they don't have to have too many straights. Let's take a look at this one. Let's run it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's cooking. All right, let's play it back from the GTO wizard stance. So there's a raise, easy call in the big blind. We could see 95% call with the king 10 offsuit. And then we checked. Ooh, it likes to lead. I think lead is sexy. This is definitely a cool board for it when we defend big blind. I like the lead. Okay, okay. For the same reason I called, I like the lead. There's going to be turn cards that we can continue on. Almost flipping a coin, though. Keeping it check. Okay, the call here with the king 10. 61% favorite. And then we have 35% like to raise. Raises cool, given everything that was said on the flop in regards to donk leading. So, okay. Okay. I dig it. I definitely lean towards a call and think call more naturally. And I think call more naturally here because there are a lot of situations where I'm like check calling some like 7x, 5x, some 6x, some 4x, some 9x, right? Like my check call range, I think, is fairly weak. And not just having those obvious hands in there, I feel like there's value in just check calling this. People aren't going to really put you on king or 10 when it comes off. And then turn, when we hit our 10 as played, a pure check. It goes check, check. And then the river, I check, no, I bet, right? What's the high frequency here? Okay, it likes bet. Looks like I went a little, yeah, so they agree with me. They prefer 3 blind bet into this pot versus what I actually chose, the 3.9. You see it right here? 38% for the bet 3 big blinds. That's the best answer. And then we chose this 3.9, which is second best. Actually, no, second best answer is bet big. Oh, really? Interesting. Second best answer is bet big. It's so tough for some of those hands to call. Even live players, I think, just will overfold here when the most obvious draw is out there. You know, if we're trying to get called by an ace or a 7, like I just don't, unless you have a good image, I just don't think that this bigger sizing, this bet 7 blinds into 8.77 blinds, I think it's just gonna, people aren't calling well enough on the river. Not even calling well enough. They are calling wider. But when it comes to bigger sizings on boards like this, I just think that they are finding the fold easier. It's like a nice spot to bluff. So as a value bet here, I kind of want to invite them to feel more comfortable. So I do definitely lean towards this bet 3. So yeah, I went a little bit too big. And they called with aces. Checking turn with aces. Checking turn with aces. Checking turn with aces. Wet board. For bluff catch, I was value betting for sure. But we did pick the correct move, even though we value owned ourselves there. Okay, another button. Or big blind. We're doing big blind stuff right now. Okay, Polish, actually, before we get into this next hand, let's go ahead and see the hand you posted in Discord. Let's see. Poker hands, Johnny Walker. 2-4 cash game was playing earlier. Okay, let's see. See what we got here, Polish Pistol. The deuce 5 suited, button open. We're in there, we call. Flop the flush draw. They continue, you call, zinger. Oh, not yet, more draws. Now 4 can give it to Kevin. This player bets 2/3. Kevin with the raise. Makes the call. It's the 5. Ooh, oh, what are we gonna do here, Kevin? What is Kevin gonna do? I think a lead here is, unless they have missed draw, leading here is going to get called a lot because a lot of players won't check call, and then lead river. A lot of the time, I think it feels very bluffy, especially when all the draws have missed, even if they have like aces. Kind of like the idea of check raise, check jam, if we can get it off, but then that's assuming that they're going to bet small enough to still fold. They'll probably still just like bet fold, actually. Let's see. Small bet. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Maybe to induce a raise. It could be one of these bets too, where it's like, man, are they ever bluffing at this sizing? This is interesting, Kevin. Let's see. This would be really sick if you induced them to raise and then you jammed. Oh my gosh, let's go. All right, Kev. One Mark, welcome back. Thank you for the 46 months. Good luck there, Ketonius, at your final table. Let's go. Nice, nice. And to the big sizing, Fearless. I gotta call another 80 bucks. Killjoy says, nah. Nice. Good hand there, Polish Pistol. Good hand there, Polish Pistol. That was an exciting one. Very cool induce on the river. Very cool induce, because you know the function of this bet too, what's cool is I bet this would be something check call, lead river, more so in a tournament than a cash game, but this would be a cool spot to block river with a queen actually and try to induce action. I'm not really sure how often this happens in cash games, but in tournaments, this is a very cool spot if this was a tournament to do something like this. Very cool hand, Kevin. Thanks for the reminder. All right, very, very cool. Now this was tagged. What on earth is this about? Okay, that was a misclick. Misclick tag. Apparently they're real. Oh, is this another misclick tag? What's going on? Yeah, this is another another misclick tag for sure. Yo, what's up, Poker Boss? How are you, brother? I'm gonna be seeing you soon, good sir. Chilling, we're just getting some study done to get ready for, oh my gosh, I forgot I have something about Mary here. Yeah, getting ready for WSOP, buddy, to come out, hang out and stuff. So that's what we're on. Doing these study sessions, man, just getting the brain right, kind of trying to get recalibrated, thinking about playing just live tournaments a lot again. And yeah, we decided we're going to be doing these study streams. So this is study stream 2 of either 9 or 10 that we're going to be doing leading up to the WSOP. Yeah, it's good to see you, brother. We will, yeah, see you soon. Actually be out that way next week for a wedding, and then, you know, summer, all summer. All right, let's see this hand. This looks like I correctly tagged this one, actually. All right, we got the raise. Probably, I like the idea of 3-betting here, for sure. I don't think it's going to be full frequency anything, so we defend. Check call. I'm not just calling ace queen of hearts to fold when the flop comes 9-6-3 and they bet a third pot. That's just not a thing, especially if I don't 3-bet it pre. Check, check. Ace on the river. What do you think here, everyone? What do you like to see? What do you like to see? Turn went check, check. You hit your ace on the river. There's a part of me that wants to see me bet small, block bet. There's a part of me that if I had 7-8, 7-10, 4-5, 4-7, missed draws from the flop, part of me does not want to bet a third here because it just gets snapped off by the majority of what Leonidas is calling the river with. I like the idea of half pot to 3/4 here with those missed draw hands to maybe even try to get an ace to fold. Definitely puts a good effort towards getting a 6 to fold. Do you know? So like it makes me want to be able to value bet at that same sizing, like a half pot to 3/4 on this river. But I don't think there's going to be a large suggestion by the solver for that. We decided to check. I think there's going to be a notable amount of checking that we should be doing here because of the missed draws on this board, especially with the flush draw missed on the turn. And then we just decided to check call. Check raise is Check raise could also be cool, but it would be very thin, targeting ace jack, ace 10, ace 8 suited. That's betting here. I don't, wow, that's, I mean, it's a decent amount, I think, coming up. I don't mind that either. What's up, Quark? Have I won enough to be able to afford lessons from Drolly Poker yet? No, man. I'm working on it, dude. I'm filling this bag up right here. This is my coaching fund, Hannah coaching fund. And once it's stuffed to the brim and then filled up 10 more times, I think I'll be able to afford her coaching. Thanks, brother. I hope so, man. I feel it. I love the energy. I think we're both gonna have a great summer, and we're gonna eat some good food. That is guaranteed. That is guaranteed. That's an easy one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the pad too. Just getting settled. I know it's coming. Now I'm getting to the point where it's like, I know it's coming. I'm kind of ready for that next thing, but we still have work to do. So, you know that spot. All right, let's see this spot. Let me see here. So let's see what the play is. What you guys think? Plug me in, plug me in. You better analyze my hand. What's up, Gumala? So yeah, it could be a good raise then if somebody's betting ace 10, ace jack there. Yeah? For sure. All right, now let's see what the GTO wizard has to say about this hand. Okay, playing it. Yeah, see, it prefers our instinct to raise here. That's the majority play. Calling 25% of the time, raising 75% of the time with the ace queen suited. 45 big blinds effective, facing a single open in the big blind. You see it? See the spot? Prefers the raise. We went with the call. We check, right? Yep, 100% check. And then our opponent bets small. It is a 100% call here with ace queen on 963. We just don't defend ace queen here, right? To fold to one bet, especially a small bet. Call the turn. We want to just focus on checking. There goes check, check. And then see, you son of a gun. They want us to check river. You know, another thing that's going to come into play here, 100% check river in this situation. It is also, with this output, it is also assuming that they are just going to be betting a bunch of their ace-x that we're going to have dominated. And then we're going to have to check raise river. If we don't see this 100% check river has to mean that we have, they're going to want some decent amount of check raising river. That's what I'm assuming here. I do like the idea of a check, but in theory, I like the idea of a check. In practice, the board's paired. If you're playing like some small daily somewhere, you know what? People who with a weak ace here are going to check because you might have a 9. You were in the big blind. They're not even going to bet their ace. So versus very passive tight crowds, I would rather do the betting and lead, because I'm going to hate when they check back ace 10. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be so tilted when they check back ace 10 here. So even though this is showing 100% check, I still think functionally we need to very much so, especially versus live poker opponents, we have to think about betting this river and leading this river, and even thinking about betting bigger versus certain opponents who we know might bet check and then have an ace a lot of the time here on the river. Because if you check here in this situation to a random, your local card room casino, and you check to the kind of recreational player behind you, like they're gonna bet maybe half pot. If they think their hand is good here, I'm speaking very generally, if they think their ace is good here, they're gonna try to bet something for you to call with worse. They're gonna bet half and 3/4. Whereas I think in a live poker setting, a lot of the time, we could have gotten that same person to call 3/4 on this river or call pot on this river when they do have an ace, but we have to bet first. They won't bet the sizing that we can actually get because they're not going to be getting proper value on the river. So I really like keeping in mind and keeping the thought of betting here. Theory's cool though. Check. And we did find the check. I found my theoretical online check. And then they bet 5 and we just called. Did we do any raising? There it is. Okay. Thank goodness. It does have some raising in here. We could see 16%. It likes raising to 17. So that is going back to, it's assuming that they are properly betting when they have an ace on the river, doing some bluffing. So, and it is also assuming that they're checking turn with some ace 8 suited, ace 10, ace jack, and doing some pot controlling, and then now betting. So there are worse hands that we can get to call. So we are raising. We're not raising on the river here, I don't think, to try to get ace king to fold. We're raising on the river here to get value, and then just calling versus all the bluffs. But the majority play here is just to call river. Oh my gosh, they had the ace 10. I'm so sad, but at least they value bet it, man. At least they value bet it. But this is exactly the situation I was just talking about. This is a spot where they bet. Let me see here. This is a spot on the river. This is easier to see, where they bet 5 blinds, right? So they went a little over half pot. They went like 60%. They bet 60% on the river with their ace 10, fully thinking it was good. But I promise you, if we would have led the river here for, instead of what they do, five blinds, I think we can, yeah, they did 5 blinds. I think for sure if we lead the river here for like 8 or even, geez, man, in the situation, we could be super polar, I think, and maybe even make this bet on the river like 15. And how often are they going to find a fold when they have an ace? But we have to like lead the river. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm so sad they had ace 10 now. He bluffs too, Gumla. Oh yeah. Well, see, had we know that, I like the, if we assume that this opponent, and this is now playing into what Gumla is saying, that players here could be betting the ace 10, the ace jack, and then having some bluffs. If I know that I can check this river, and a lot of the time this opponent will bet for me, I really like the check and raise a lot of the time. But if I think my opponent is the opposite of that, I like the idea of leading here sometimes. Bigger sizings, knowing that I would really want my bluffs to be coupled in there as well and give this in-position opponent some tough decisions on the river versus betting, which is like a third, which is much easier. So yeah, cool hand there. What's up, Marls Carvin? How are you? How are you? We're doing good. We're doing good. What you up to? We're just doing some study. Getting ready for WSOP, trying to stay sharp, spending some time with the crew. What are you up to? Oh, wait. So I know the movie. What is that? From 100? Gumla? The Leonidas? Nice. Carl, good luck in your games. I am just going to be doing some studying, so hanging out on the side. If you have any thoughts or questions or anything, I am here. We've been here coming up on... Oh, has that already been 2 hours? Wait. Yeah, coming up on 2 hours. Wow. All right, here is a hand. It looks like we have tagged. Maybe a preflop? What are you thinking? Everyone, you just got jammed on. You have 8-9 suited in the big blind. A 13.65 blind stack has jammed on you. What are they jamming? Let's start here. Let's look at this one. Let's not go into the replay on this one. What are they jamming here? What do you think? 13.65 blinds. Let's see. I want to call here just because I got that gambly spirit. But the big question is, what are they jamming here? Right? What are we? 13, 14 blinds. We can do this. We're going to get that answer, everyone. Watch this. What are they jamming in the small blind? Oh, I didn't know that, Gumla. I did not get that reference then. Toto Leonidas. If you want to believe you have 43% call, seems mediocre. So I'm going to guess here that this player is going to be jamming a lot of the small pairs that you can't really play post flop. You'd much rather just take it down here. I don't think, one thing I will say is I don't think that they're going to have aces here. I don't think that they're going to have kings. I kind of think they would either just call or look to raise, not just shove with, you know, jacks, queens, kings, aces. Ace king can definitely jam here. Ace queen, the small pairs. I don't know that they're jamming like eights and nines, are they? Yeah, eights and nines for sure. Let's take a look. Let's take a look actually. Their jamming range here could be pretty wide. 8-9 suited is probably not going to make the cut. But now the other side of this question is versus this jam, what are we calling? What's the bottom? What pair? What bottom pair? What bottom suited cards semi-connected? Is it Jack 10 suited here? I mean, we got to call King Jack suited here, right? In this situation. So where does that stop? What about Queen Jack suited? I think 8-9 suited is just a bit outside of that. Let's see if I called. I'm curious now. Oh, I did call juicy. Juicy, juicy. All right, let's look at it. Okay, Bruce has small pair, random ace and king queen. What's up, Squan? Squan says ace jack specifically. Okay, let's check small blind if ace jack is jamming here. Right here. Squan says ace jack. Squan, you're right. Ace jack is in there, buddy, 100%. So that is correct. Small blind in this situation. Yellow or orange, however your eyes look at it. This is what they should be jamming here. So it's if they are a proper jammer, I think the aces here, not too much post flop playability. Dig it. Look, they do have some ace king from 14 bigs, some small suited aces. And this is I don't think everyone's going to be finding these queen 6, queen 5. The Brazilians are finding these jams, actually. The queen high ones and the jack high ones and the 9 high ones. They're definitely finding those. So look at what we can anticipate starting point our opponents can be jamming there. Visually, it is a good amount of the strongish to strong ace X, and then the king highs on the offsuit side. And then we have this boomerang here between, so the small pairs, they just can't play post flops. Let's just get them in, right? We get a bit of a boomerang here between pocket 2s to 6s. And then we have some connection going over to the lower ace X suiteds with these suited connectors here that are doing some jamming. So if somebody is jamming correctly here, they have a pretty wide range. I mean, maybe even more than we would think from 14 blinds. This is 27.5%. They are going all in. So now let's see what we should be calling. In the big blind, this is what they want us to call. 32% of the time, all of any ace we have. So check it out. Here's the visual. What should we be calling versus somebody who is jamming almost 30% of their hands here? What should we be calling? And here it is. 8-9 suited is not in there. I knew it. 9-10 suited, though. That makes me feel better. 9-10 suited is in there. Jack 9 suited is in there. Jack 10 suited. So we got to draw a line somewhere for ourselves visually, right? The 9x. 9x Broadway, yeah. But not the 8-9 suited. Not the 8-9 suited. So here we could see we are solidly in Broadway and including the 9s on the suited side here into that equation, right? So see, this is kind of easy to block off in our minds. All of the Broadway, and these are obvious. Obviously, we're calling aces and kings, queens, jacks, 10s versus a 14 big blind jam, but these ones are easy. We're calling all pairs. Calling all pairs. I'm with it. All ace highs. And yeah, pretty much the 9x suited side. Broadway, though, not this 8. Until people don't call you correctly, wide jams are fine. And I agree with Barney Nuts. I agree with Barney Nuts. Yeah, I remember that Polish pistol. You said that you made that 500 deposit, spun it up to 9,300. Oh, and the rest in cash, Okay, nice. Yeah, I know you've been on spin up, man. Congrats. That's always awesome. Squan, you don't know about the queen 10 off? The call here? Yeah, you really have to be thinking about calling even jack highs. Not the offsuit stuff, but a couple of the suited stuff versus a 14 big blind jam. Queen 10 off. Even the king 8. This one's easier to find. I'm even thinking about calling in here, honestly, instinctively. But it's should be towards the suited. Let's see if we... Oh, wow. Hit the straight. Easy game. Ooh, they're jamming king 4. They're jamming the king 4 offsuit in the small blind. We'll go back to the small blind. King 4 offsuit is in there. Look at it. They found it. Holy smokes, they found it. What is this? This is 26% all in with the king 4 offsuit. King 5 offsuit. You can see here from the small blind, they should be jamming this. In that situation. So they found it. We ended up getting there. Must be nice. Must be nice, huh? Okay, looks like we have a call all in situation here. Pretty loose call here, sir. Chat, what do you think of this one? Look, this feels like a loose one to me. 9 blind, stack jams. This might be, for reference, this might be a PKO, but let's pretend it's not. Just to kind of keep it consistent. In PKOs, you know, we can go wider. We're going for bounties in some spots, especially if they're big bounties. I think this is 3 ways. I think it's a little loose. Barney king 4 off, better limp fold. Yes, I would bet on that. Not calling here. Positions are a big flag. Good point. So professor says here, what are we? Plus we're big blind, yeah. So +1-ish, +1. In for 9, very next position, in for 20. So yeah, we're definitely going to be up against some stronger ranges. Let's even just take a look actually at what this... Let's look specifically. This 9 blind range can be a bit wider. We're not concerned about that one. The range we're mostly concerned about here is this 20 blind stack who gets it in the next position after they're already in. That is the one that really matters because we're struggling versus this range and they cover us for our stack. Okay, we're gonna plug this one in, Sally. Can we replay it though? Okay, no, it's just not giving us it. All right, let's see if we can set this up then. 20. See, because yeah, it's gonna be skewed because it's like 3 ways. 7-7 ace jack for the 20 big blind guy. All right, let's go ahead and plug in. What is it? So it's gonna be a little bit weird. What are they +1? Because then what is the low jack getting in? So this is, so we're kind of trying to model this situation a bit. Trying to easily model it. And there's a 9 big blind stack. And then what's from the low jack here? This is the range that we're really wondering how we're doing against in the big blind. So what are we like putting in 20 bigs? And this is, I think, a fair assumption. Pocket 8s. So we got the scorpion again. Remember everyone? Pocket 8s plus, ace jack suited, ace queen offsuit. Getting it all in here for 20. This seems reasonable. So now looking at our ace 10 suited, you know, how do you feel about it? Looking at what we're up against. We're only getting 30%. We only have 30% here. That's it. This just feels like a very, very bad spot to get in the ace 10 suited. Let's see what it shows us in the big blind versus this scenario. So yeah, it shows if under the gun +1 goes all in for 20, we're in the big blind with 20. This is the output we're getting. So it is Scorpionish, 8s plus, ace jack suited, but now it has some king queen and king queen suited in here to battle versus this range. So the ace 10 suited is outside. Ace jack suited. Full, huh? Let me think instinctually. 20 blinds jams here, ace jack suited. Yeah, ace jack offsuit, not right. It's bouncing it. King queen suited, too pretty, man. Give me the king queen suited all day. King queen offsuit, I think I can handle that as well. 8s, 9s, yeah, you gotta do it. This feels pretty Scorpion. Lockjaw says, do your villains play perfect GTO though? No, and that's a good point. So understanding these baselines that we're trying to create and these visuals that we're talking about, the goal of that is to understand where the starting point is. And then if we assume that our opponents do not play perfect GTO, which I don't think we should probably ever assume that unless we're playing some elite high stakes field, but past that, no, I don't think we should. So a lot of the times we're going to be just tightening up this range because they're not going to be finding all of these jams that they could. Let's see here. Yeah, they're just not finding all of these. Not even finding any jams at 20, but this is a different situation than the 9 to the 20, the open jam. Yeah, you think Doug? Yeah, you probably got to play Doug. I would assume close to theoretically sound is going to be the best approach, I would imagine, to negate his edge versus you. But to help negate it, but then if you want to gain any edge, you got to be finding the right exploits and figuring out. I feel like at that stage, high stakes, elite level heads up poker, it's all about, well, this is not just there, but I think a lot of the time adjusting to your opponent's strategy, that's just like everything. Figuring it out in a heads up situation, mano a mano, you can figure out your opponent, get a feel, I think, quicker. All right, so what do you guys think of this squeeze here? This is my sizing. I don't think I need to go this big if we look at the stacks behind. This guy is kind of out of the equation after they overcall. So mostly my raise size, I think, should be according to this player's stack. They got about 31 blinds. Yeah, there's flats. I'm raising in big blind. I could have just called. I think this is going to apply a lot of pressure. I think this will work a lot here. Elephant Chimes is going to be flatting some hands here that are going to be stronger than mine, like 9s and 10s, potentially 8s, some ace jack suited, ace 10 suited. So I am going to be, this is the range I'm most concerned about continuing. Like if B hat continues, they just have us be easy fold, but they're going to have like a middling range, which we could apply pressure to, but they are going to be ahead of us a good amount. But they're not going to be 4-betting. It's just we're going to be playing against them post-flop. If they 4-bet jam, they just have like 10s. And this player overcalling is just going to be weak. They're going to have some like queen jack suited, jack 10 suited, maybe even some ace 3, ace 2 suited, things like that. We're going to be just like fine versus this opponent. So I'd get it in versus them if it got around and they went all in. So I'm not concerned about the sizing too much. Okay, let me check on you guys quick in the chat. 75 don't do this. Oh, thanks, Polish. Are you saying that's a donation, or should I be? Or were you wanting something else? Am I understanding that? The 5 PTP you said. BN Willia says, when do you deviate from GTO? If you have an aggro player 3-betting almost every hand, would calling with ace high make sense or still play appropriate? All right. So as far as how I would adjust or deviate from GTO, if I have an aggro player 3-betting me almost every hand. So let me start there. I would say if I'm playing live poker, we don't get as many hands together. So I kind of like, for me now, as far as when I will, you know, deviate or just take a more aggressive line that might not be so GTO. If it's a live tournament, since we get less hands, if I suspect somebody could be getting aggressive, I tend to like to 4-bet that player immediately. Sometimes I might even show, depending on how I think they'll respond to it. But I like 4-betting quick, soon, setting tone, setting the flow if possible. I do invest and like that. That's like a valuable resource to me. So I like that. Most of the time they will just fold when they're testing you at first, and then it kind of sets the tone. So that's a time. If we're playing online, actually I made a 4-bet. I deviated from what I knew was theoretically sound in the Venom the other day. If you were watching that stream, I talked about it, the ace-8 offsuit, or no, the ace-5 offsuit or 6 offsuit, something. It was a bad ace offsuit, but I opened cutoff, and then the button 3-bet me, and then I 4-bet them with a hand that I know is not a 4-bet. But it was early in the Venom, we were deep, and I think in that tournament as well, I jumped to the conclusion that players are going to be 3-betting wider, wanting to kind of establish dominance and flow in that tournament. So even though it was online, I wanted to send a message early, and I put in the 4-bet. So that was another thing that I did based off my specific situation. But there will also now be times, let's say this, there will also be times where somebody is just getting hands. And especially in live poker, I know I've had to remind myself that multiple times, but sometimes we might like make a good raise, we get 3-bet, okay, I know this is a fold. And then I raise again, and it's like, how is this guy 3-betting me again already so soon? I look at my hand, ace-4 offsuit. I know it's just a fold, right? But then now that third time, it's like they 3-bet you again, and you got to look at your opponent. And, you know, if it is Old Man Coffee over there, he just happened to 3-bet you, you know, 3 out of 5 times, 3 out of 5 hands, he might just be getting hands. You just continue to stick to the script and fold your folds, maybe even overfold comfortably, knowing like, holy crap, I can't believe this. He just got aces 3 times out of 5 hands. Like, good for him, man. And then you fold and you're fine. So, but then you look over and they're wearing a scarf and a hoodie pulled over and stuff like that. Like, oh gosh, I gotta 4-bet this. I gotta 4-bet this person now. You know, so it's a not an easy answer as far as how to approach, but I hope that does help empower you a little bit, BNW. And now the second part of that question was, would calling with ace high make sense or still play appropriate? I wouldn't start overcalling. I don't think the best, so I'll tell you this, that if you are, let's say, out of position versus somebody who's 3-betting you too much, I don't think the most productive adjustment is going to be to start calling their 3-bets more. Because now you're going to have to play out of position in a bloated pot versus an aggressive opponent who could put you in tough spots. I would rather fold to the 3-bet or tighten up my opening range if I felt like I was just going to get destroyed post flop. You know, sometimes I think when we're playing tournaments, we really, I know for me, it has shown a lot of value over the last few years, is thinking about a tournament in terms of navigating it and thinking about the situations and the obstacles that I'm putting in front of myself as I'm trying to get to the end of the tournament. And yeah, that does help influence my decision making in a good number of spots, and focusing on navigating and how I'm positioning myself at the table with what I'm opening, noticing who's 3-betting a bunch, and making these adjustments is the dance. It's the dance, you know? Okay, Bruce says, so 4-bet Dario. Probably. Yep. Cheers, Polish Pistol. I appreciate that, man. Much love, by the way, for the dono. Does that help, Bienwilia? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Toji says, yeah, I like tightening and then 4-betting. Yeah, versus calling. Yep. So I'm glad you feel that way too. Okay, let's see what is... Oh, this one, this squeeze here. Did we get it through? No, we get jammed on and fold. So we know this is just one of our squeeze bluffs here. The question is, should we? Actually, I don't even know if we'll be able to see this one. What is this effective? 30. I will humor us, everyone. I'm in big blind. They raise. Yeah, this is like too many calls. This ain't gonna work. Maybe it did. Let me see. So under the gun raise, cut off call, button call. Wait, no, actually it's hijack call, cut off call. All right, here is, so I'm finding some like very low frequency squeeze here with this ace 4 hearts. It's a thing, but not really a thing. It's just mostly fold with the ace 4 hearts, or with our strategy here. Ace 4 hearts is actually just a pure call in this situation. I was getting cheeky here, trying to find a nice squeeze. But yeah, it mostly just wants us to overcall, it looks like, in this situation. With a lot of our suited stuff, fold a bunch of the offsuit stuff. Don't even overcall here if you have weak aces. I think it's easy to look at this spot, have like ace 4 offsuit. I was like, oh, I got to throw in one more blind. But we're just going to be in so many dominated situations. And you can see the solver output here. Doesn't even want us overcalling offsuit until offsuit aces, until ace 10 offsuit. You know? So yeah, I should just call ace 4 suited. And looking at this, I guess we don't, golly, man, just aces, king 10 suited, queen 10 suited. Okay, I'll focus my attention more on the Broadway, weakish Broadways for my bluffs here in this situation. I don't need to go down to the sexy ace 5, ace 4 suited land. But it didn't work. Easy fold down at that point. Toji says you can squeeze ace rag suited in position versus open and over calls. Let's go ahead and see in position. We could go to that quick. Let's see here. Let's go to the button. Let's run this back actually. Let me see. Fold. No. 30 bigs. Call. Yeah, so we have, well, our strategy, we're playing much less hands here because we're on the button, and it doesn't want us to overcall too much in this example that I've set up here under the gun plus open, hijack, cutoff call. Overcall some small pairs, and then we have some ace 9 suited, king 10 suited, going for it, ace 5 suited, doing some calling. Barely, they just want us to fold all this stuff now with players behind, whereas when we get to the big blind, it just wants us calling all this stuff now. Closing action. Okay, let's see another one. By the way, if you're enjoying this study today, you're watching on YouTube, please do me a favor, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're watching on Twitch, don't forget to hit the follow button. And if you want to download GTO Wizard, we should do some, I want to show you some practice. We did show you kind of like what some drills look like, but you could do some practice on here as well. We've just been utilizing it to import hands and study situations that we have in our poker tracker. We're just going through here. So this is another pre-flop one. Let's look at this post-flop one. And then I have some questions that were emailed to me. I'm going to go over those questions. And then, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of the training drills to show you all what that looks like. And then I'm going to go over those questions to end the study stream. But if you want to download GTO Wizard, exclamation point GTOW in the chat, you can get a 10% discount. Use the link and study with us, ask questions, and kind of get a little bit more familiarized. It's a good spot to do that, getting ready for the 2024 WSOP. That's what today's stream is. What's up there, Boost Steer? I see the redemption. I will see you on Wednesday, and I'll be able to give you the 550. Thanks for watching. Okay, I do not know what's going on. Okay, big blind. All right, so this is a post-flop situation, huh? Let's see what happens. Defend big blind. They bet. I call. There's some good turns. Check. They bet, and I fold. What is the question here? Not really sure. Flop call. We got some outs. They're betting small. I'm not sure what my question is here. Let's go ahead and see though. Probably, definitely doing some calling. All right, let's play it back. So here we go. So this is what the trainer looks like. The trainer looks very similar to this. Would fold on flop. Let's see here. That is a good thought. There's back draws. They're shorter stacked, so I believe that I probably should be folding more on the flop. But if we were deeper stacked, I don't think I'm going to be doing too much folding with the double back doors. But let's find out right now. So we're suited here versus a cutoff, min open, 100% call with this hand. And then the check. This is not a board we lead, 100%. No other options. And then they bet, and then yeah, fold 100%. Let me see if I can change this. It would be cool if I could change this if they had like 40 bigs. Let's actually study here. I want to see. So yeah, we should just be folding flop. Let's see if they run it. Check. They bet, and then and the trainer is just like, please fold. The second, it's just what it wants to put a big stop sign up there. Please fold. Okay, let's study here. I want to see about, I want to adjust the stack size on flop. I think we should call on the flop if we are deeper, but short stacked, I think. So that's 14. Let's look at 30 on flop. So we check, they bet, and then 6-9 suited. Where are you, pretty baby? Fold, it still wants to fold. Oh my goodness, give me a break. Okay, so it's still at 30, it wants us to fold. Look, come on, give me the 50 big blind check call on this flop. The 9-6 suited. Okay, no, still not in there. All right, so we're being a little optimistic here. Being a little optimistic. Fold flop, everyone. But as we do get deeper, you can see we do start to call more. Actually, just as an example, just not the 9-6 suited. So look visually, just look back, keep an eye. You know, we kind of see the greens here, and then the purple goldfish in the middle. This purple goldfish shape. Now watch how this image changes as we go down to the actual stack depth 14 versus a c-bet on this flop. So the goldfish lost its wings down here. We're doing more folding, more blue. More folding, more blue. And then actually we have more calling here. Yeah, oh, okay, more calling on the offsuit side. Overall strategy from 50 to 45 here. Yeah, for sure. Told you like to turn too, man. Yeah, so you see it. You know, once you start seeing double back doors, man, you can't ever stop seeing them. Yeah, it looks like it wants us to get out of dodge here. All right, fine then. We will. All right, what do we have here? This is a rangy daisy. King 10 suited in the streets again, huh? What is this one? Oh, I want to jam. Did I jam? Okay, I did jam here. The question is it too heavy? I think at 20 this is an easier jam. I also think though this is going to be maybe not jamming at the frequency that I want it to jam. But let's take a look at this one. Great jam, you like it? Let me see here. I feel like it's going to want us to call more than I want to. That's what I think is gonna happen here. Let's see. Yeah, see, man? They hate our jam. They hate our jam. They hating on us. I knew it. I still like the jam. I still like the jam, but we should dig in more, right? Barney says suited plays good post flop. You know what? So correct. Just when a 20 to 25 blind stack opens the button, we could just print here by jamming. Do you know what I mean? And then even when they call correctly with fives, people are folding 3s, 4s, 5s after opening button here. They're not finding the jams like they should from 25 here with those small pairs, I don't think, overall. But yeah, I would call this jam. If they jam 25 here, I would call with king 10 suited. You know, so how is it not pretty to rip it in right here? We're gonna have to dig in more. Let's just see what they just want call. We ripped and they folded wrong. Come on now, GTO wizard. Dang, that's it. I'm gonna study this on my own. Let me see. All right, so let's go. Button raises. What are we? 25? We're at 25. Good. They raise. Small blind folds. Oh my goodness. It's okay for me to jam my king 7 suited and king 6 suited, but not my king 10 suited. Because of how well they play post flop. Also, they want to balance this jamming strategy, but you can see the small pairs. Pairs all the way up to jacks on 25 bigs, and in this scenario they do like the jam. Solver prefers the suited broadways, just seeing a flop. But then is this non all in from 25? Nice. So the pink here is make it 6 blinds in this spot versus jamming. Yeah, I do like having the non all in 3-bet because I don't want to just jam my aces and kings and queens. I want to be able to make this like 6 or 7, give them room to think that I would still fold, jam it in. So then now we're balancing with the 10-9 suited, 9-8 suited, pretty much. Maybe some ace x, king x. We could see some little bluffing going on over here, this offsuit stuff. But yeah, most of the suited stuff just wants to call for a visual, except the stronger stuff. This is at 25 blinds. Let's see if there's a shift at 20. Not really. I mean, there was, you know, the picture definitely adjusted, but the non all in and jamming seem to stay fairly similar from 20 to 25. Yeah, pretty similar. I don't think we can really pinch hairs about that one. So we're just going to need to start reminding ourselves 20 to 25 blinds here. A lot of the suited stuff, except ace 10 suited or better, is wanting to just see a flop here. And then we are jamming our jacks to 2s, the random king x suited over here in Midtown. And then the offsuit broadways, ace x, king queen, small pairs. Okay. Ketonius, I agree. I think if you have enough of a read on your opponent and know that they will interpret your jam here as only ace king, like for instance ace king ace queen, and they're going to start calling pairs. I do like doing that, and I do that more so when I'm playing live poker. I will make a certain jam knowing it just like looks like ace king, and then it's just impossible for 10s and jacks to fold, and then I just have them dominated. Like I love getting in spots like that, especially if it's a again, a live tournament where we get less hands, and I kind of want to try to get max value in some situations. So if I really think I can go for it, I will, but it's a deviation for sure. But I am open to it. I am very open to it. All right, let's see what we got next here. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's go through another post flop hand. What is this? We're gonna get through a couple more hands, then I want to address a couple questions that were emailed in, talk about them a little bit with yous. All right, queen 10 offsuit, we call versus Dan. We get a call, he bets half pot, backdoor spades, gut shot to the nuts, turn goes check, check. And then I am wondering what my, if I want to bluff here, or how much I want to bet as a bluff. So I bet a third, and he called with fives. So this goes back to a point I made earlier. Good call by Dan. This is a friend of stream here, a friend in real life too. So here's what I see here. When he makes the call with fives, obviously it's probably in there, a frequency. If we think about how our opponent, myself in this situation, is betting some of their bluffs, like when I do just check call, turn goes check, check, I think he's correct in assessing that I'm going to have some queen 10, jack 10, and things like that, queen jack, that have missed our draw on the flop and now are going to try to get away with a bluff here for a third, because we're not really trying to bluff somebody to fold an ace on this river. So we don't need to really bet, I don't think, big on this river to get, well, the ace is just calling whatever, right? So now we need to focus on when we're choosing a bet sizing. I feel like on this river, you know, what bet sizing can we maybe get a king to fold? What bet sizing can we get fives to fold? Right? And it goes back to me earlier, I was talking about, I kind of like bluffing bigger in these spots because things are becoming more obvious and players are getting better, and giving them the out of position third pot bet, which can be very theoretically sound in spots. I think the success rate is going down as players are getting better. And I've been talking about this a little bit on stream, like randomly in spots. I just don't love the function of this third pot bet as much anymore because people are just too comfortable playing versus it. They understand it. But then now, you know, my value bets here. If it goes check, check, turn, I just defended big blind. My value bet can go bigger, right? When I have ace X, so they're going to just check back, turn to call king X, and they're not going to be folding. Maybe my sizing I like here is like 2/3. We'll get some more folds and whatnot. This is a very interesting hand to me because this one for me is kind of speaking to the, I feel like, evolution of the game. I'm going to be very curious to see what the solver wants to say about this one. But I understand the reasoning for small bet. I have my reasoning for big bet. And he made a good call, which I think kind of really started this conversation. So let's go ahead and see. Talkman, yes, I like the idea of 2/3 as a better sizing, but with that said, Talkman, we have to realize that sometimes we're going to run into an ace, and we're going to just, because we just can't be betting 2/3 to ever try to get an ace to fold. The function of our 2/3 bet is going to be to get 5 to fold, those middling pairs to fold, king and king X to fold. It's never to get an ace to fold. So it's really, I like the idea of 2/3 overall. It's easy and I feel like can fit into a strategy. But there will be some situations where the function of a half pot bet or a third pot bet out of position there, maybe we don't have to bet 2/3 versus certain players. Maybe we can get the job done with like half pot, 60%. So we kind of have to like walk that line. I feel like depending on whether we're playing live or online, what we choose to do might be different. Toji says half pot seems functional at that point because you save yourself a couple bigs and only has to work a third of the time. Yeah, I have been definitely working in position some more half pot bets than I have in the past. So I do like the idea of working it in more out of position as well. Let's see. Oh, it did come up. Let's go ahead and see what the old machine says. So button opens, we just call with the queen 10, 100%. We check 100%. They bet half pot. We're not going anywhere. 98% call. All right, so we're just check calling here all the time. Turn comes a 2. We just check all the time here. We're killing it right now. We're crushing it, man. And they just want us to check river. Interesting. Interesting, they just want us to check river all the time. Check river, give up, huh? The old GTO give up. Okay. Queen spade probably bad for us. Yeah, blocking some of their hands that I guess would... Actually, what would bet check? I'm not sure that it's bad, really. Maybe they would have bluffed more if they had some queen X of spades, preparing to set up a river bluff. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and dig into this one. Gosh, you hate my small bet. Can you guys believe that? Unbelievable. I want to see the sizings that they suggest. It doesn't need to be my specific hand here. Now we need to think about our overall strategy on this river. And as we just saw in the hand, they want me to check here. But I think when we dig in a little bit more, the suggested sizings for our specific hand, it wants us to check. But our overall strategy here out of position when the turn goes check, check, and we have missed our draw, what I want to see right now is what sizing it's going to prefer for a bluff here from the player in my situation. So that's what we want to see. Let's go. All right, so here we are. Yep, board. Check, check, river 7 of diamonds, boom. And then now it is on me in the big blind. What are the bet sizes? So the sick, it's actually, it doesn't mind. Yeah, so 8.6% our overall range here. It likes the third pot bet, but in a very, it's actually indifferent. Honestly, this is like splitting hairs. 8.6, 8.4, 8.3 our overall range, betting all the way up to 75, 80% here. And then it prefers, and I'm actually happy to see this. I like this because I like finding these overbet spots. This is good. I like this. So it prefers a 1.5x pot, roughly, right? Am I mathing? With our entire range here, it wants to go big. But now let's look at what that consists of. So let me see here. The queen high, it likes the overbet. Queen highs, it likes the overbet. So this is my range here that we might have. The queen 5 suited, queen 4 suited, missed spades, it likes the overbet. Bet 19 into a pot of 12.8. So how to fold out those pocket pairs? Barney right here, overbet. Look at it. This is what you want to see, man. Solver wants you to overbet. Give me a reason. Hands like 5s have to fold for sure. King X is for sure thinking about folding when you 1.5x river. I like this. I'm happy to see the bigger bet sizing, honestly. I was almost sad that, oh gosh, the correct choice for me here is a third. I'm happy to see the overbets. But again, we could just adjust our strategy depending on how tight we think our opponents are calling on the river and everything. Like I'll say, if this is a Rounders daily tournament here in San Antonio, in like the Big 50 on a Monday or something like that, and somebody is check turn, I know they don't have an ace, and they're not playing, they'll even fold you and show a king here if you bet like a third pot. So it just depends. Live poker online, but I'm happy to see this overbet. And the point of me kind of justifying that small bet is we could save money for when they have an ace here and get called. This bet is efficient. Whereas if we're versus some better players, players who are going to make some more sticky calls, I think that this bet, the overpot bet, could be more efficient. And look at this, even finding some value bets for overpot with the ace X's. So it's assuming some of their king highs are call, or pairs of kings are calling. But then we have a bunch of bluffs down here. All of our missed spades, if you look, wants to go over pot. So actually, for those of you who are saying that it seems like it's better that we have the spade in our hand, even though this is double spades. It's assuming. Let's see if we have anything. Yeah, we don't even have any single offsuit spade here, I guess, huh? Well, in this sizing, let's see queen 10 offsuit. What does it want? Just check. So it just wants our queen 10 offsuit, even with the queen of spades, just to check. It looks like it doesn't really 10 of spades. Yeah, it doesn't really queen 10 offsuit here, regardless of no, there's some bluffing when with sizing though, when they do bluff 10.5. Yeah, it wants to go bigger with this queen 10 offsuit. See it? So with our specific hand, or actually our specific hand is the queen, spade 10 of diamonds. It wants us to check with the queen of spades more so. So we will start bluffing when we didn't have the queen of spades. So for those of you out there who are saying the queen of spades is a bad card for us to have in our hand to bluff here, you were correct. Queen of spades, yep. When we don't have it, it is finding some like 80% bets. Let's see, the player says we can overbet with lower spades because we unblock higher spades. Let's take a look here. So our weakest missed flush draws, are we talking single spades? Because our missed, it looks like just our weakest, the flush draws that missed with containing the 2 and the 3, just want to check. We got some all in here from the queen 4 of spades. Get in there. That's cool. So they want the, look at this all in. Queen 5 of spades, queen 4 of spades, 10 4 of spades, 9 4 of spades. The old 5 4 offsuit. Hands that just don't stand a chance. They just want you ripping. 3x pot. Jamming in the queen highs to get the king X to fold. And then these better queen highs. Now, we're not jamming these ones. These ones have more showdown, I imagine, which is why some of our like 3x pot bluffs, if you have that in your game, are coming from this range. These ones have a bit more showdown. Like even the queen 9 of spades here is very happy just to check it river because of its showdown. Cool. So I think I really got what I wanted to get out of this hand and why I tagged it. I want to lean towards a bigger bet in this situation. I don't love the function. This feels like an old habit or like old teaching kind of, in a sense, coming through. I just don't think it is as effective as we really want it to be. All right. Thanks again for hanging out, everyone. Boost here. I'm going to get you that redemption sent on home game night. So make sure you're around and let me know, okay? All right. Let's see. I want to... Where is my image? I want to address or talk about these questions here. We got a couple questions emailed in to us. Barney, that's funny. Yeah, small bet on the river if you're trying to get called by the king X and the small pairs. True. I think so. And it's funny because in that hand, you know, we got called by the 5s, but I think against population, good players, things like that, I just think that the king X knows that, oh man, I'm getting such a good price, I just have to call. Even the people that are playing theoretical and like GTO, if you give them, the smaller the bet, well, the bigger you bet, the more they have to fold, the less they'll check raise. The smaller you bet, the more they can call and the more they can check raise, you know, if you have a big hand. So, yep. All right, so let's talk about this. This is gonna be called Drew and the Crew chat. Drew in the crew chat. How do pros decide how aggro to be with high pocket pairs or ace king suited? They said, I find there are times when I do 2.5x pre or 2x the big blind and get called and sucked out on. But I'm trying to balance getting sucked out on, which happens a lot, versus jamming and getting no callers. And I would put in parentheses there, after the jamming and getting no callers, to avoid the variance or to avoid the tougher to navigate post-flop situations. Because I think that's really, when I read this, that's how I connected to this question. And I actually, this is weird because I can't usually do this, but this takes me back to when I was playing online in I would say 2014, 2015, 2014, in that range, where I felt like I was playing well and I was putting myself in good positions, but then I would be losing some bigger pots. I would be in an uncomfortable situation, even though I knew that, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. I was just supposed to open here. I was supposed to make it 2.5x, whatever. Or I was supposed to defend the big blind here with this suited 9-5 because it's just what I'm supposed to do to a min raise. And then I would lose some pots, and then you're kind of, I found myself in situations where it's like, gosh, I don't like that. And then, you know, maybe you jam and then you 3-bet bigger and then you avoid that situation. And while that did work at times, I feel like the only way that I found confidence and comfort in the variance that happens in poker as a whole and in these situations is, honestly, it's just kind of like studying more and being so confident in defending that suited hand in the big blind that regardless of what happens, you know you made the right play. So you're not easily shaken, if that makes sense. Because you know that's what this statement made me think of. It's like, you know, you think you're doing right, you think you're doing well, but then variance happens and you question if you should have done something else, basically. And I think as we study and get better and increase our experience in the game and kind of get some confirmations on some strategic situations, it's easier to brush off variance and never second guess the decision you made. And then you just know that it was variance. And you're like, no, you know, jamming is not a thing here. I don't want to do that because I just don't get called enough and they just fold and it's, you know, so no, jamming is not a thing for me now anymore. As I've progressed kind of out of that emotional state of poker, and I know that it's just this, and sometimes it'll get to a point eventually, in my opinion, if you work hard enough at it, to where you can even laugh about variance and like realize that, oh, you made the right play. I was like, dang man, I'm supposed to win there so often, and you just kind of are at peace with variance. So that's my ramble on this first part here. And then I see you and other pros doing 4 to 5x big blind and don't know if my strategy is off. So I'm assuming this 4 to 5x big blind is a 3-bet sizing, I think, maybe. If that's what this 4 to 5x raise strategy is talking about, I will say that if I'm ever 3-betting to 4 or 5 blinds, it has to do with stack depth. And let's say an opponent is opening off of 17 blinds or something, 18 blinds. I don't need to 3-bet them to 3x after they've opened to 2 and make it 6 blinds or 6.5 or 7 or even 8, as some players might do, because by making it 5 big blinds versus a 17 big blind stack, we are going to be able to touch that leverage point. That point when a player feels like they're facing a 3-bet and they feel like they can't flat. They have to decide for their chips or not. They have to go all in or fold. Touching that point, it's part of how poker, in my opinion, is a dance. Realizing where your opponent's sensitive spots are to going all in and not. And it's easy when we get deeper in tournaments as well, and the people are more invested in a tournament. There's more fold equity. You don't need to, it's not like when you're 100 big blinds deep and you're in late registration and you could 3-bet somebody from 2 to 10, make it 5x their sizing, and they're just never folding. Whereas we fast forward to you're on final table bubble, for instance. Somebody has just opened from 20 bigs in late position. Now I'm even, let's just say I'm in the small blind. I can even make it 5 blinds from there, out of position in the small blind, let's say 20 bigs effective. And because of the gravity of the situation, there's increased fold equity and people are going to be folding more. Your 3-bet looks stronger. You can even be out of position and make it 5 blinds and still get a lot of folds. Players don't want to make big mistakes as much once it gets later in a tournament. So your raises and re-raises don't necessarily have to be as big to accomplish what you're looking for. And people's leverage points are much, much closer and much more sensitive. So you can kind of manipulate that. And we should always be looking to find that point and give our opponents difficult decisions, whether it's with the open side or 3-bet sizings, the post flop sizings. So it's like a lot of adjusting and realizing the stage of the tournament. And I'm assuming this is a tournament question too, not a cash game question. Polish Pistol actually just says that. I see that. Depends cash or tournament. Cash players would rarely fold small pairs on a board like that. And yeah, so cash and tournament, we're studying specifically tournaments. We're going to be looking at, in a lot of our examples, we're going to be looking at 100 big blinds or less. So for these streams and our conversations, while we can talk about cash games, I do think that we should default assume we're talking about tournaments. So let's see. The second questiones says, I've noticed a lot of pros late reg frequently as opposed to starting on time. I understand that this is because you can be aggro and build up a stack, or benefit from those of us who have been playing 3 to 5 hours and the mistakes we made. But is a part of that also to be closer to in the money is the question. Now, for me, somebody who plays online and streams, me late regging is me definitely, actually, I'm not consciously thinking I'm going to be closer to the money. I'm thinking, and I'll vocalize it when I'm on stream, is like, oh, if we're max late regging something that's at my smaller end of my buy-in range, and I don't mind getting in with like 10 to 15 blinds, it's like, oh, sick. I'm closer to having a run for the stream to watch. I'm closer to making a deep run in this tournament and having a final table 2 situation where we get to see some kind of different action or some final table action. I actually definitely think about that because of the streaming side of it. But I don't see why other players and people who put in high volume wouldn't still be looking at it the same. Definitely situations where if a tournament is in one of those unique spots where you can max late reg and almost be in the money, there's definitely players who can be very, very aware of that. Regulars, recreational players won't really be putting that time and energy. They're just seeing, oh, 10K guaranteed. Register still open? Okay, good. Boom, I'm in. Whatever time it is. There's going to be a lot of players who are just like that. So I kind of have this like streaming and regular player thing that goes into my late regging. I can get more games in, fire up. You kind of don't want to miss certain tournaments when you hop into a stream. But I will say this, things that I will try to avoid late regging, big tournaments like the Venom, I'm going to be there as early as possible. I want as many hands as I can to try to get max value from any satellite players that are in there and be able to play some deep stack poker when I feel like I have some edge. So I don't want to late reg that one too much. Freeze outs, you know, more opportunities. I like to be in earlier there in freeze outs. Early reg, higher buy-in tournaments. not only, well, higher buy-in tournaments in my buy-in range, I want to have more chips. I want to be earlier because I want to enjoy it more too, honestly. I want to play deeper. I want to be able to see more flops, pots, situations, have more time to try to build a stack. So I think there's multiple reasons out there that people might be late regging tournaments and then not late regging tournaments, which could include being closer to the money. And then also, actually, I kind of covered it. I understand that this is because you can be aggro and build up a stack and benefit from those of us playing longer. If we're assuming they're making more mistakes, that's kind of like tied into my like early stages of Venom example. So yes. And then this, if I'm doing a long grind, I'm streaming, and we could see that we could late reg and be closer to a deep run, which is also in the money. Like that's appealing at certain times. If I'm playing live poker tournaments, I definitely want to, in a lot of situations, get there earlier because we get less hands in live poker versus online. So I want to be able to capitalize on seeing more situations versus players. And newer players will tend to buy in earlier as well into tournaments versus late reg or max late reg. So a lot of those players' chips have already exited the prize pool if you late reg a live tournament, especially too far in. And there was actually a video or a clip or something somewhere where Darren Elias, a high stakes, well-known WPT champion, like all these things, right? He was talking about how he thinks it's really, really, really important. I believe he was directing mostly at live poker to be there early. And his talking points were, you don't know how many times somebody has gifted me a 200 big blind stack, he said, in a live poker tournament with like one pair. And you could just build up such a huge stack that allows for you to take advantage of other players, put other players in tough spots, see more flops, see, you know what, it just empowers you. But I will say, with that said, one other thing and variable that is notable for me at certain times when playing live poker is my energy. If you are there at the beginning of a tournament, then that means your day is going to be longer. So now that, thinking from our competitive side, if you're going to play WSOP for the summer, you're going to have a long summer, or just playing live tournaments, you get into it, whatever. There's some conditioning that I feel like the best competitors out there are well aware of and understanding. And I know I could do better in that area, you know, like the going to the gym stuff, getting good sleep, eating good food, having the right fuel, not eating too big of a meal on dinner break, coming back sluggish in the brain. Like there is an endurance thing with live tournaments, especially if you're in the summer playing a WSOP event and you have to play, and it's a smaller one, let's say like one of the 300 or 500s, and you got to play a 14-15 hour day to get to day 2. That's a challenge, man, in itself. That you need some endurance. It's tough, and you need to play good, your best, not only early in a tournament, but also think about those late day 1 situations where people are getting tired. People ate too much on dinner break. Maybe people are now starting to overfold after those situations, and they're starting to drag mentally. It is challenging, especially the more casual and recreational players. Do you think that's a good time to be playing your best when the majority of people are starting to gravitate towards playing their worst? You see? So now, does late reg seem a little bit more appealing in that scenario? Depends on what your tank is like. Depends on what your conditioning is like. So I could push somebody to late reg a live tournament more. And I could push them to late reg early more. But there's some things to consider, I think, that goes into this, if that makes sense. Let's see. Polish Pistol says, when you get a larger stack, it gets tricky because you want to take advantage of your large stack, but you also don't want to punt it away and be aggressive. True. Yep, that's definitely a thing. And navigating a big stack and kind of being at peace with some things. Not one thing that I think I have done, and I've seen other players do when I've done more coaching, is you get a big stack, but you're not willing to commit to like a triple barrel. or you get a big stack and then you're 3-betting more, but then you're c-bet giving up. Like you're just, yeah, you're playing more, but that's not gonna, just because you have more chips, you 3-bet c-bet and then give up and you're missing, you're just like giving away more there. You know what I'm saying? Whereas maybe you would have double barreled if you didn't have a big stack, because now you're afraid of punting off your big stack, and now you're not double barreling enough. You actually might, there's situations where you could actually be playing tighter than you think you're playing, because you have more chips and you're afraid of losing them, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So it's like this very interesting vortex and space to be in, but it's part of a progression, I would say. You know, you kind of don't get a big stack for a while, you figure out how to get a big stack, and then you're worried about losing your big stack, and within worrying about losing your big stack, you don't maintain and continue to grow your big stack. And a lot of the times when you grew your big stack, it was in 1 or 2 big pots, and that you played better than you had in the past. So this progression happens, and I feel like towards the end of that progression, you realize that, oh, you have more chips, and instead of just 3-bet, c-bet, give up, now you're like 3-bet, c-bet, double barrel, because I have more chips, I have more ammunition, and now I'm applying more pressure, and now I'm playing bigger pots. I'm not worried about getting coolered and losing a big pot. I'm continuing to focus on the task at hand and playing my big stack. And now I think that you can get to that point where you're maintaining that big stack or you're continuing to grow it. But there is for sure this section where fear of losing big stack, because I finally learned how to get a big stack, is a thing, and you have to like progress past it, it feels like. And sometimes you just gotta be at peace. It's like, oh, okay, I lost it, but I went down swinging, you know? So I hope that is helpful. What's up? Eat your chips up. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Appreciate that. What's up there? Morals says, I like joining early so I can play looser and more aggressive with the blinds small. Me too. I like that. Yep. Toju says, makes sense. I have that mental battle all the time. Easier to just have no attachment to your stack. Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so you feel me. Cool, cool. Just feel like those early levels are super valuable when blinds are low. I don't disagree at all with you, BNW. 100%. Like I said, if I had maximum energy, maximum focus, and I didn't stagger throughout the course of a 12-hour day, let's say, playing online or live, I would just register tournaments early, for sure. That would be the preference. So if I'm ever registering later, well, online aside, because we already talked about that, but live tournaments for sure, it's just like I'm trying to save some energy if I'm late regging. Late reg is literally more EV than regging on time, says player 1. Jarrett, what's up, Jarrett? Cheers, brother. Shout out to you and the other lurkers out there. So player 1, you're talking about late regging and kind of like being more EV because your hourly is higher, right? Because you play less hours. And if you're good enough on like a 20 big blind stack, you should realize about the same equity, the cash, similar time, but will have saved yourself so much more time. And that feels fair. But I think that some people would argue that picking up those chips earlier could increase your bottom line enough to where maybe you set yourself up to make a deep run and get that first place more. I think there would be, which then, you know, you make more money and then your hourly at that point will be raised. But assuming that you get the same cash the majority of the time and you never finish or something, for instance, then your EV playing less hours, you know, your hourly is just going to be higher in that scenario. But again, I think the argument is the potential, the implied value of getting in there early, picking up these big pots, and then how that helps you to navigate and position yourself to get to the end of the tournament and win the tournament, I think is the other side of that argument, you know? What's up there, Poker Brat? Says, sometimes I find the lengthy reg periods are the biggest challenge. I can chip up early, but then I don't donk them off as fatigue comes in. And that, Poker Brat, that kind of goes to my point. that I was talking about, like that endurance thing just a little bit ago. That makes sense to me, right? So maybe for you, let's say you happen to be poker brat, somebody who like works a 10-hour shift but likes to come home and play poker, but you maybe don't have that much time, energy. I've been there, I've done it. Before I quit my real world job in 2010 to try to pursue full-time playing online, I was working 10 to 12 hour days. I would come home, eat dinner, sit on my laptop, watch TV with my girlfriend, and I would fire up some tournaments. I would, decent amount of the time, fall asleep at wake up at final tables, things like that, whatever. But I was max late regging tournaments. I already didn't have enough of a tank, so perhaps you are going to have a better time playing poker in your off time by doing the max late registration and understanding that your tank isn't that great, and maybe you are not experienced and confident enough playing a deep stack that you will play your better game and you will have a better return if you just show up to a tournament with like 30 stack you're more comfortable with, 30 bigs, right? Like I had a friend who used to play a lot of live poker, and he was not confident in his deep stack play. He was very confident in his sub 30 big blind stack play, that he would do good, not make too much mistakes, save energy, and therefore he never registered a tournament early. He always registered. He would look at it. He's like, when will I have 30 big blinds? That's when I play my best. That's the stack I'm most confident with, and I get to sleep in a little bit more. And he would just show up to tournaments 30 big blinds, and yeah, he won a bunch of rings on the circuit and stuff. So, you know, I think understanding ourselves as athletes, poker competitors, poker players, poker gamblers, whatever, from a performance standpoint, I think understanding ourselves and being real about our situation and the energy we have available and all of our expectations, all of those things is part of the beauty and the art in this game, and trying to create and put out the best version of ourselves so that we can hopefully get the biggest return on our investments. And it's just not exactly the same for everyone. This game, the art, the way it is most enjoyable for us. You know, it's most enjoyable for professional players who are making a living to make the most money. And while everybody aspires to make the most money playing the game, for some more casual and fun players in the game, you know, getting a good gamble in, having a nice sweat can be one of the top priorities, I think. And I say this coming from somebody who, when I play other games outside of poker where I'm less competitive, I kind of just want to sweat. I want to gamble. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not prioritizing and thinking, oh, I got a real shot to win this thing. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like when we're having the most fun, we're enjoying life the most, we're enjoying the game the most. And I don't think we really talk about that variable too much, but I hope that, you know, you guys and gals kind of think about that a bit too. Crypto Crynet, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Oh, cool. BMW, that realization post work. She says that she's more impatient. Connect with that. Like, be real with yourself with that. Know you. Nobody knows you better than you. Even if you get a coach, like what you really need to do, in my opinion, and what I try to do in these like study sessions, which can sometimes turn into me like life lessons, poker stuff, whatever. Nobody knows you better than you, right? So you got to be real with yourself, and the real key is to figure out how to think about things and to figure out the equation within yourself and then the equation in poker so that you can manipulate it for your personal situation, your personal satisfaction and enjoyment, and get the most out of it and have the best time you can. And that's transferable from like poker into also life. You know, there's a set of variables throughout the course of your day. You got work, you got this, you got kids, you got that. And you know what I mean? You got to arrange them in the way that you can get your best output and hopefully have the most fun, and which will yield the best experiences, the best memories. What's up, Cracked Aces? Says, I think level 6 to 8 are good starts on ACR. Nice. So maybe that's 40-50 big blind range or something. Oh, okay, Bruce. Making some meatballs and Puschetti. That sounds great. Well, I'm getting hungry too, by the way. Let's see. These tournaments require serious mental fortitude. Even the 21 hyper is 5 hours. The player one, you can post links in our Discord. !Discord. We had some poker hands posted here earlier from Johnny Walker. But if you want to join our Discord, !Discord in the chat. And before I forget, if you enjoy this study stream and the rambles, you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, please don't forget to hit the follow button if you'd like to support and know when I go live. This is study session number 2 of what is projected to be a 10-session pre-study stream leading up to the 2024 WSOP. If you want to download GTO Wizard, and this is going to be the majority of how we use to study in these next bunch of sessions. So if you want to learn more with it, you want to practice it, now is the time to download. It does support the stream if you use my link. So !GTOW in the chat. We'll pull it up and you get 10% off, and then you can kind of learn and get better at using it right now with me. All right, so let's see. Let me make sure we are. All right, Toji, thanks for hanging out today. We will catch up with you later. Thanks for hanging. This start tournaments, everyone's sitting out and you have to stagger the way. Noted, Cracked Aces. I will bring it up there about the sitting out. When people the timing out thing. Some of these tournaments can last 12 hours from start to finish. Yep, that's 8 to 12 hours. I would say a lot of MTT days are going to go like that if you make a run. Never 3 putt. What's up, Never 3 putt? Says, I've started playing too tight in home game, trying to just get points. That's not how I play my best. Need to adjust now. Hey, you got some time, Never 3 putt. You're in a decent spot. And the competitive side, the subconscious of you has started to make some adjustments because you see some, that's almost like big stack, Never 3 putt. That's almost like that big stack syndrome we talked about earlier. That stage that people can progress through where you start to build something. You had the points, you were up, and then you didn't want to make any mistakes on the way to getting more points. And now as a result, you get less points or less chips, right? So that's a thing. I'm glad you noticed it. Not that I noticed it, but I'm glad you're having that realization within yourself so that you can make an adjustment. And if you choose to, but at least the realization is the first part. Let's see, picks in Discord. Let me see what we got here, K Bruce. Where is it? Food picks? Oh, baby. Meatballs for Scabetti. Hopefully they're tasty. Oh, yeah, man. Look at those. K Bruce. How many meats we got in this? We got some onions. We got some rice in here. What do we got going on? We got some cheese in these meatballs. Dang. Meatballs. Oh my gosh, K Bruce. Yes, yes, yes. Very nice. Garlic. Yeah, is there garlic in these meatballs? Kate Gilmer, welcome back. Thank you for the 26 months. Much love, brother. Okay. So that is everyone. I feel pretty good. One thing as far as studying that I'll say is I feel like when I used to do coaching sessions, I would schedule them to go an hour and a half to 2 hours. I definitely have done some 3-hour ones, but I feel like retention really goes down. Our retention goes down to learn after an hour and a half. 2 hours is almost a little bit gambly. We were in the zone the other day. I feel like we got a nice 3-hour session in. But right now, I feel pretty maxed at this 2 hours. I think we got a lot of good conversation in. I'm happy for the session. All right, Polish Pistol, go ahead and post that if you'd like. Let's see. K. Bruce went Italian sausage, ground beef, tons of garlic. Yes, sir. Eggs, spices, rosemary, oats to bind. Ooh, cool. Okay. I like that. The Italian sausage. Ah, that feels like a must in meatballs, doesn't it? Feels like a must. All right, Polish Pistol. Let's see this hand. Where are you at? Welcome to the Discord, by the way, Johnny Walker. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see. By the way, if you're going out to the WSOP, make sure you join our Discord as well. Anything, if you're out there, you want to see who else from the stream is out there, if we are doing any meetups, things like that, we will keep you all posted here between myself, Hannah, everyone in the crew that's going to be out there. I know we got a bunch of people that mentioned that they were going to be down for the breakfast day of the $500 bracelet event, the freeze out that we're going to be playing. Okay, let's see. Hannah has a hand here in the bad beats. Okay, Polish Pistol, keep me posted, buddy. Let's see what she got. Aces, raise, 3-piece. Gets the 33 big blind jam. The queens and rivered. Ooh, that's a painful one for sure. What's up, the machine? How's it going tonight? So while we are waiting for Polish's hand, anybody have any thoughts or questions? What's up, chat revoked? 12 events picked out. Hope to see you while you're out there, buddy. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure we will. Yeah, we'll be in touch. We'll be talking. I'll be keeping an eye on your Twitter and everything. But I will be out there all summer, buddy. So we're with you. We're with you. Okay, so let's do some drills to like cool down. All right, let's see. MTTs. Let's do big blind defense. All stack depths. Okay. 14 big blind jam from +1. We have 10-7 off. We're gonna find the fold. Let's see. 3 big blind jam under the gun. We have 10-4 off with 3 bigs. Oh my gosh. They got me here, man. This is a good one. I'm leaning towards fold, but I know feels like with 3 bigs. What even is this example? How's everyone got 3 bigs? Wrong move. Yep. They want us to call it all, huh? All right, 100 big blinds. We got an open, queen 5 offsuit. Got a fold. What is the best upgrade for GTO Wizard? I don't know, chat revoked. I just signed up for the yearly MTT, so I don't know what you mean by upgrade. Yo, what's up, Johnny Blade? How's it going? What's up, Wawa Master? I should dress as Pikachu again for the WSOP and then bring a beach ball as a Pokeball. You know, it's funny. I saw this clip somebody shared with me. These guys dressed up as Pikachus in this van, and some dude was sitting by a fountain. They opened the door of the van near him and shot a Pokeball at him and knocked him into the water. It was pretty funny. But I will be bringing my Pikachu outfit for sure to Vegas. Okay, let me see here. Open queen 3 offsuit. The fold 100. BN Willia, if that's correct, you feel like you're defending way too much. That could be kind of part of an area of making some calling mistakes where you could tighten up. So I would look at all spots that you're kind of making some calls to. All right, 9 blind, jam, king 8 off in the big blind. So we're looking at big blind hands here, everyone, because these are the situations we come up the most. And this is a nice drill for you as well. If you are going to download GTO Wizard, like I said, we got a command in the chat, !GTOW. It does support the stream, so I appreciate it. And I'm here to help and show you guys this. But check it out. So we can actually just rip through scenarios and study hands. Even if you don't have a tournament, you don't have Poker Tracker and playing on ACR or any other sites, you could still have hand histories and have hands to look at and study without having to do what I have primarily been doing, inserting my own hands and analyzing from there. You could still go to this practice button up top, click trainer, click drills, and you could just rip through some scenarios. You select what you want to study on the left and then hit play, and then boom, you're in there. So here we go. We got under the gun open. Ace 9 offsuit. I'm going to call. We got top pair. Not going to be leading here. ACR onesies would be cool. You mean like an ACR get together with onesies? Or I was thinking specific ACR onesies. I don't know if they, I doubt ACR is onesies, but that would be sick. But yeah, like some sort of like, not costume party, maybe just onesie. because then Pikachu, we're already there, right? Pokemon, Pokemon party. All right, so we check, and then you get to see immediately how high or if you made a good decision here. So we're not folding, call. It says 83%, so that was not a pure call. But basically what we're trying to do here is, you see our GTO score on the left, tells you also how well we're doing. So check, they bet again, and we call. And the river is a king, and I think we are just trying to get to showdown with this hand, bluff catching. And then check was low. They had that at 4.7%, really? And then the jam, really? What are you jamming here? I guess we're just folding. What do they have? Set of sixes on the turn. All right. Oh, I got you, BN. You know, a good time for the onesie stuff is tag team day. That's the last time I wore my Pikachu outfit at WSOP last year. Machine Savage, what do you mean we can't wear Pokemon onesies that they're selling because of trademark stuff? Of course we can. Okay, Polish Pistol, we'll take a look at those hands here in a second. Let's rip through, what are we at? We're at 8 hands. Let's get to 15 hands real quick. Let's see how we do here. Raise, suited, call. And then we're going to check fold this flop. Even though we do have backdoor straight draw flush. Maybe I actually kind of like calling sometimes. I do bet check a lot. I actually like calling sometimes here. I think that I'm going to pick what I like, actually, versus what I think the answer is. So the answer was fold. And me calling this flop is because I think that this goes bet check so much on this board, especially when players have an ace and they think I could have an 8. Like, what am I check calling here? How often is it worse ace X? Okay, now we have an easy fold. All right, 7-4 suited, open, defend big blind. Then we have I'm going to check here to start. But then when they bet, I was going to say when they bet, I like the idea of check raising. It gets to us. I think at this point when they check flop, we're just trying to get to showdown, so we're going to check here. 99.6. And yeah, at this point, we're really just trying to get to showdown. I don't think that there's going to be too much value. The value I feel like in betting here is so that they don't bluff us off a hand, mostly. I think we do just want to get to showdown. And they agree. Raise, 5-2 offsuit, 30 bigs, effective, fold. We got cutoff open. We're sitting on about 50. Ace 10 suited. This is 3-bet worthy, I would say, from the cutoff. Heads up. I'm going to go call, though. I think I would mostly call. All right, 2 pair. Not a board. We're looking to lead. They bet. And so I think ace jack we raise when we have it here, but I think we maybe I dig just calling, unless I think it's somebody who bets top pair and just never folds top pair. So it looks like we're mixing. They do like some raising. That showed 43% there. And then also on the right side, you see our hands are building up. Then we can click the little hat to further study the spot. If we made a big blunder, we could star it to save it. We can expand it to see the information, and then we can replay the hand. So there are a lot of very cool options on the side there. All right, check. They bet again. We're not folding our 2 pair. Spades came in though, so I don't think that raising is now an option. So we're just gonna call. And then now we are bluff catching. We're just trying to get to showdown. There is a part of me that sees a value in block betting, not having to face a big bet. If they ever happen to have ace jack, getting them to just let us show down in a situation where we're likely just going to be check calling 3-8, you know, betting like 8-9 blinds here, I think has some function to it. Maybe still getting value from jack 10, which could bet twice with intention of checking river. King queen did get there, so we are going to want to have some leads in this situation. I think it's going to be mostly check, but I like the idea of bet 9 also. Check 100, and then they jam, and this is just terrible, man. This is terrible. GTO W wizard trainer, why are you trying to make me look bad on stream here? Jeez. Jeez Louise. Checker bet third. I'm going to go back on this one, Squand, and look at a third. I think this is just too strong for us to fold, simply put. Theoretically speaking, I just think it's too strong to fold. Versus Old Man Coffee and a lot of live players, maybe I make this fold and just sigh and just know that 37 big blinds is heaps here, and this spot's marginal. I'll just be able to get all these chips back in so many other ways. You know, then I would lean towards a fold versus some wizards and stuff online and some live situations. Then I call. I think the answer is call, but I think the exploit is fold. And you see, so river is like, yes, the answer is call here because you're just too strong with your 2 pair. But again, that's assuming that they're just bluffing like the naked king of spades here in situations, or maybe even single pair like ace 4 with the ace of spades, trying to get better aces, and you know, maybe jack 10 and stuff to fold. But you know, just not the case, I think, enough. So in practice, I like fold. In theory, I know it's a call. You think so? Player 1 in some of the situations there? Or big blind is supposed to be polar in what sense? Raise, suited, defend. And then check. And small bet. I want to continue. On this stack depth, though, I think we're going to fold more. So we picked the 2 best moves. And let's do 2 more. I said I want to get to 15. 9-3 offsuit, easy fold. Don't even need to look at stack depth. Pocket 9s, 20 big open in the low jack. We're big blind with 9s. 20 bigs. This is going in. 20 bigs, all in. The call ace queen, and must be nice. Must be nice. Okay, so I'm glad we rebounded our GTO W score. Started off rough, 60s. 15 hands, we're back up to 87. We finished strong. Finished strong. Okay, let me see here. Pistol. Let's take a look at this. What do you got? Raise, 3-bet, and call. Yep. Call flop. Okay, so check on the turn, setting the trap. I definitely don't hate it. They bet small, and I could see a click here to 60 to try to get some value from a jack. Or if they might be trying to induce sometimes with an ace jack or an ace 10, I like a shove. Yeah, so I guess you probably thought they were going to call here as well. I don't think that they're going. The thing is, we're targeting. I think this jam gets them to fold a lot of 1-pair hands. So I think if we, for some reason, believe that they're a trapper and they're going to have ace jack, ace 10 sometimes, or they're going to have an ace that they just never fold. If they happen to be ace queen, ace king type of player here. I don't know that they choose this sizing with an ace. It looks more so like they might be trying to induce. Either trying to get a cheap showdown with a jack, or they're trying to induce with 2-pair. So I'm kind of down for both. If we think it's mostly a jack or a 10x trying to block bet river, then I like the idea of raising it to like 60 or 70. But if we think that they're going to call here with any ace or the 2-pair, then I like the jam on that one. And then we'll check this one out too. Ace King. What happened? I missed the. Oh, this must be a bomb pot. Oh, it's a bomb pot. Flop top 2. Bet small. Oh, you played some bomb pots. And then get the. Well, actually, I'm making an assumption you might be trying to induce, but I think in a lot of these bomb pot situations, betting 10% is kind of theoretically sound. I haven't done the work. I've just heard of the work, and I kind of like the function of it as soon as I heard it. And get it in. And what are you up against here? King 3. Oh, sick. Hopefully you hold. Oh my gosh. Oh, you took the. It looks like you took the buyout in that situation, huh? Play it safe, and you got crushed on the turn. That's painful. Nice hand though. Kevin, Polish pistol. Good evening, CRS. How are you? How are you? Thanks again, everyone. Good session. Good session here. I am going to bounce though. So again, if you want to download GTO Wizard, study along with us. We got about 8 more sessions coming up. Next one will be Monday. If you want to mark your calendars, I believe I have it at Monday. Yeah, Monday, 5 o'clock will be the next GTO Wizard study session. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. No doubt BNW. Appreciate you guys too. CRS, you'll be able to watch it back. Should be there for you. What's up, Mr. Poker? Thanks for the love, everyone. I hope it was very helpful to you all. I am going to get some dinner, chill out here a little bit, and maybe max late register the 20K mystery bounty at Rounders tonight. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, okay? So yeah, that's it for now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. What's up, Silky J? Squan, thank you, thank you. Charles Carvin, glad you enjoyed it as well. I'm going to bounce now. Appreciate everyone's support, and let's see where we are going to go. I want to find somewhere for you all to hang out, but just wherever we end up going, please just show some love. I appreciate the positive energy. Hope you learned something. Good vibes. God bless. Peace. See ya.